dining featuring hand-cut steaks, fresh seafood, a small plate menu, and German family specialties. Enjoy happy hour, half-off drinks Tuesday through Thursday, 4:30 to 6, and live music Friday and Saturday nights in the lounge. And don't forget Friday Fish Fry and the amazing champagne brunch on Sundays from 10:30 until 2. Golden Mast Inn is your place on the lake.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Greg Scalzo for Smart Spaces. How can Smart Spaces transform your business?
Really looking at the entire space holistically. The environment, the walls, ceilings, lighting, flooring, furniture, technology, along with acoustics.
To conceptualize how the end users are going to interact with the room, from the furniture all the way down to the AV, having that work seamlessly within the environment and often hiding within the furniture.
Let Smart Spaces transform your business today. Visit Smart Spaces.
This is Ben Brust. Hear me every day on KBN from 2 to 5. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Woof! Woof, woof, woof. Welcome into Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. That's all I can muster up right there to get you into our show. Ben Brust here alongside Kyle Wallace, an passionate Green Bay Packers fan, 6-time 6-year NFL punter. Brad Nortman also here with us. Chris Larson running the show, 800-990-3776. That's the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. And remember that one, 800-990-3776, because that is your opportunity to vent in a safe space in which we will dissect everything that went down yesterday in the Packers' loss to the Broncos. We'll start with you. I guess we'll start with Tosa Chris. Is it too late to return the Jordan Love cookies? And for those who don't know, when the Packers were 2-1, Brad Nortman came in and he was like, I went to the bakery on Saturday. There was only 2 Packers cookies in there, and they were Jordan Love cookies, and it just felt right. And after the comeback, I'm all in on Jordan Love. Kyle, Brad, you guys ate those cookies. I said I'll have a nibble, and I got laughed at. Where are you guys at now?
Well, it's funny you bring that up because, we've been dealing and throwing around this Jordan Love relationship analogy from the get-go, from the step, number one show of our program. And it's almost like you were working your way toward getting ready to propose and maybe looking at jewelry. And it's like, baby,
red flag.
Why you got to act like that? All these different attributes are coming out and be like, I didn't know this about you. So, to me, I just look around at this team, this coaching staff, Jordan Love, across the board regression. There were some things you could hang your hat on. There were some positives that you were seeing through the first 3 games. It wasn't perfect, for sure wasn't perfect, but you were looking at it, both local, national media, former players, current players saying like, hey, this guy can play. This team's all right. And you have just seen one step back after another step back after another step back. And when I think this team can't hit another level of the basement and hit rock bottom even more, they hit another level of rock bottom. It's hard to imagine a worse rock bottom than what we just saw. A Broncos team that is universally terrible across the board, terrible defense, and then have that offensive performance. The offense is so bad, it's almost making me forget that the defense still can't stop the run, and we still don't have any answers there. So I'm sitting here left with the least amount of clarity I've ever had about this team, and that includes Jordan Love, to where if that cookie's still available, I ain't buying it right now.
This game, this offense was putrid. Like, this was something that was tough to watch. In the first half, watching this team just absolutely find no rhythm, get nothing done, was embarrassing for the Green Bay Packers. And it was beyond frustrating for me. And then understanding that this team is the best second-half football team, which is woody-do, whatever. You score 17 points in the second half, congratulations. But scoring points in the second half, despite not winning, means nothing to me. It's all about winning for the Green Bay Packers. And I thought maybe, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, would this bye week mean something, right? And I thought, okay, they had time to really refocus themselves and had time to reevaluate themselves and coach themselves up and get ready for this game. And what did they do out there? Nothing different. They looked like the exact same football team in week 5 than they did in, week 7 now? They look like the exact same football team. There has been no change whatsoever coming off a bye week for this football team. And this is why I said from the jump of this season, and dang it, I'm mad at myself for getting too hyped, seeing things from a rose-colored glasses and not just focusing on
green and gold-colored glasses.
Green and gold-colored glasses. I should have listened to what they said in the offseason and not what they started to say leading into the season, not after week 1. This was supposed to be a down season, and this was supposed to be a bad year. And I set myself up by expecting something better, maybe 10 wins, maybe 9 wins, maybe 8 wins, only to be slapped with the realization that this team
on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee, Kyle legitimately slapped himself
because this team is not a very good football team. It's not. Defensively, they're average. Okay, against a team like the Broncos, whose offense sucks, they'll suffice. They'll do fine to keep you in the game. But the offense is young, inexperienced. They have no leaders. It's trash. It really is. It's a trash offense. And I said this upstairs. You're asking guys who have no idea what they're doing to do something special. It's like trying to basically ask Brad or ask Ben or ask me to ride a unicycle without teaching us how to ride a unicycle or not knowing how to ride a bike, not giving somebody training wheels. These guys have on training wheels right now. They do. They're at an elementary level trying to go up against guys in high school. That's exactly what we're dealing with as Packers fans. So for Packers fans like me, let's just calm down, let's sit down, and let's temper our expectations and know this team this year is no bueno. We are looking at a top 8 pick team. That is what the Green Bay Packers are. We may be a top 5 pick team. And you know what? Let's enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride.
Let's enjoy the ride, and let's see exactly
who enjoys when the roller coaster breaks and is
nobody. But what we can sit here and complain each week, but don't complain because the product sucks because we know the product sucks. You know what I'm saying? So don't go into Sunday.
Yeah, but you can complain about how the product got to where the product is.
So I guess we can complain about how the product got to how the product is, but they tried to warn us. They put tea leaves out there to say, hey, we got a new quarterback. It's going to be a work in progress.
That's not good. That's not good roster building. Let's just go and suck across the board and put terrible product out there. You're literally wasting people's careers.
As in on the defense, and I mean, I'm not for a wholesale. I'm still hopeful for next season, but this season is over. This season is completely over. There's only thing
you can't be hopeful for next season and then say this season is over.
No,
you can be hopeful for next season and say this season is over from an expectations of winning standpoint, but learning if they're actually going to be good next year is part of the process.
All we're trying to figure out is Romeo Doubs going to be a legit number 2? Is Christian Watson, is he a number 1 or is he just a gadget guy? What do you have in Reed? What do you have in Musgraves? On the offensive line, we got a 7th-round pick protecting a guy who even played last year, protecting the blind side of Jordan Love. Our team sucks. They do. The best offensive lineman on the team had a holding penalty that ruined the game for us. So I'm just upset about this. Elton Jenkins, trash yesterday. Everybody, trash yesterday. Throw it away.
You know my favorite part about that is? 2 minutes ago. Let's stay calm. We know what the expectations are. And he snapped.
It's just disappointing. And they said it after the game. Disappointing. Like Matt LaFleur said, it's disappointing. And I just need him to change the messaging from disappointing because I just remember when teams lose, like when teams who don't expect to be good lose and they're expecting to build up, you go in the locker room and they say, listen, fellas, we're getting close. We're in these games. And I feel like the conversation after is talking about, we let this slip away. No, we need to be talking about, fellas, we're battling. Keep fighting. We're going to break that rock, but we just got to keep hitting and hitting. The mindset is wrong, and they need to shift it to a different mindset.
Well, it's hard to shift the mindset when I think they take a strong representation of what their head coach is. And Matt LaFleur has proven that his teams are not tough. Like, they're not tough teams. They do not handle adversity well. Like, they have not been good off buys. And I think Ron in the Key makes a good point here as he's referencing where Kyle's at right now. He's going through some stages of grief. That's how I look at Kyle right now. 800-990-3776. That's where you can chime in. Don't complain because the product sucks. That's exactly when you should complain. At least Kyle is finally able to see that it sucks. There's baby steps. And again, for me, this all goes back to the abysmal start. Like, I'm with you, Kyle. The seven, like, I'm so sick of the second half thing because no matter what, whether they scored 13 points in the second half or however many against, I think they scored 10 points in the second half against the Raiders, however many scored against the Lions, and however many they scored yesterday. Guess what that mattered for? Nothing. They lost all 3 of their last games with the points scored in the second half. It's a trend that is clearly something that is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the results of the game. What has mattered is Matt LaFleur, with more time than ever to prepare for a Raiders team off of a Thursday night game against the Lions. They sucked. That was their worst offensive performance. I don't know. These two are close, so I'm not going to jump ahead on my own point here. It was bad against the Raiders. Then, all right, you get 13 days after you play the Raiders, coming off a bye week, to play the Broncos. And all I freaking asked, all I've been asking Matt LaFleur to do, despite the young talent, despite all of that, this was the time to figure it out. Because guess what? All of your concerns, Kyle, about this offense sucking, they don't have extra time to go self-scout, look at what they need to do better. This is what you got. What you got is what you saw, and that was against 2 of the worst teams. Now, do they play the next 2 opponents with under 500 records? Yes, but guess what? That don't matter.
You suck. It doesn't matter because you suck too. They all suck. We all suck.
Every game is losable.
I've been trying. Like, I remember going through like the Packers schedule and being like, "Oh, that team's not that good." Well, guess what? The same team that you're saying that is not good is looking at the Packers and saying that's an opportunity for us. And that's what happens when you move on from a guy, whether you liked him or not, put you at the 10.5 win total before the season starts, and you know you're going to have a chance every single year. This is the other side of it. And unfortunately, like it makes me feel like Goody's getting away from a lot of the blame right now. I put something out on Twitter at Ben Brust. Who do you blame? Goody for the roster or LaFleur for not elevating them? And Matt LaFleur is taking 75% of the blame. Goody's taking 25%. Guess who traded away a potential football Hall of Famer before Aaron Rodgers? Goody did with Davante Adams. And for anybody who tries telling me that they offered Davante the same thing that the Raiders offered, they had already lost at that point. They didn't prioritize Davante before that. And so you don't have Davante Adams, Lazard gone, MVS gone. So then you set up your wide receiving group to be this young for a guy that you drafted and pissed off Rodgers and ultimately fractured your relationship to a point where he is now gone. So you traded away 2 Pro Football Hall of Famers, and you give Matt LaFleur a roster with Jordan Love in his first year, and this is what he's got. Part of me is very much, I could go at Matt LaFleur, but I feel like Goot needs to be taking a little bit more of a hit here because ultimately the guy that he drafted and moved up to draft in a year in which they went to the NFC Championship game and didn't continue to build the roster to help them win now, they drafted Jordan Love, A.J. Dillon, and Josiah DeGuara. Those are the 3 guys that Brian Gutekunst drafted after they went to an NFC Championship game. Think about that. And Goody gets, it's all good. Goody, Goody. No, I'm sick of everyone getting after LaFleur. Goody has messed this up for the Green Bay Packers, especially if Jordan Love isn't the guy. That's the scary thing. We all talk about this season, all that matters is finding out if Jordan Love's the guy. Well, guess what? If he's not, that goes even more further to Goody.
Well, and that's the whole challenge, right? I could almost understand Goody's mindset and approach if he took over a team like the current Bears, where it's like, we're already in the basement, we're already struggling, might as well hit the reset button because we got nothing else to really lean on. He took over a Ferrari, right? And now we're stuck with some, beaten down car that we're not even sure can start when we want it to start. It's totally unresponsive, and he took that, dismantled it to try to hit the reset button. But you know what's really hard as a GM in the NFL? It's not the salary cap. It's hard to find good players. It is really hard to find good players. You accumulate all the good players you can, and you figure out the salary cap as you can, right? The Packers had those good players. They didn't just have good players. They had great players. They had Hall of Fame players. They had the ingredients that every other franchise is searching for. And before you know it, he dismantled it piece by piece and just thought, you know what? I can just hit the reset button and do that all again. It's not that easy. It's really, really, really hard to find good players in the NFL. Had good players. We no longer do.
I love how you said that. You stripped down the Ferrari and took it to a damn chop shop. That's exactly what this roster is. That is a great analogy that we have for the Packers. And as I think about Jordan Love, and maybe I'm overreacting, but I do believe, Ben, that this season we find out a lot about Love. Because if your team continues, again, they're losing close games. So, they're not far off from, they're competing, right? This is a competitive football team that has failed to put a whole 48 minutes. They play 48 minutes, right? 60 minutes. Whole 68 minutes of football together. Like, that is exactly what this team has failed to do. And that's part of the growth process that I just feel like they need to do a reset and reevaluate what their goals are for this season. And so at the end of this year, you have to be able to know whether or not Jordan Love is the guy or not, because if you lose a lot of close games and you're only scoring 17 points, 20 points, and Jordan Love's not lighting it up, and you end up with 3 wins or 4 wins, and you do have a top 3 draft pick, you consider moving on. You know why? It's because what happens is Jordan Love could potentially maybe be good. But we're talking about year 5 next year. If you have a top 3 draft pick and you have a pick and an option at one of these guys that could be elite one day, because right now Jordan Love is not displaying that he's going to be elite, but one of these guys coming out next year could potentially be elite, you have to highly and heavily consider moving on from Jordan Love and bringing somebody else in. Not because Jordan Love can't be an NFL starter, but Jordan Love may never be a guy that can be an elite NFL starter, a championship NFL starter. There's not a lot of guys that win championships at quarterback at all. And so if he can't get it done, you'll be able to see this year what he does. You may be able to move on. And again, it doesn't mean Jordan Love can't be a top 15 quarterback, but if you got a chance to get a guy that's going to be top 3, top 4 in the NFL come 2032, you get that guy.
800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-ESPN. I put this out on my personal Twitter, @BenBrust. Who deserves more blame, Goody for this roster or Matt for not elevating them? That was 67% Matt LaFleur getting the blame. I want to hear from you guys, 800-990-3776, because I didn't put Jordan Love in this because, to me, Jordan Love is part of Goot. Goot is a part of Jordan Love. Like, they are tied together because coming off of an NFC Championship game, which they had no business winning, that is something to build off of when you have Aaron Rodgers, and they decided to do nothing to help them other than draft A.J. Dillon and Josiah DeGuara after Jordan Love.
F.
3 Fs.
Jordan Love's a C right now. And A.J. Dillon's an F because he has to contribute.
But if I said A or F Jordan Love, like the game we play, what would you say?
F right now.
There it is.
It's F right now.
800-990-3776. Goot or LaFleur? Who are you blaming? I say Goot. What do you say next?
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
It is the 414 hour at 4.
No.
All right, Kyle, take it away.
If you're going to say it, you got to say it right. It's the 414 hour at 4.
Okay, so how am I supposed to say that?
Say 4. Come on.
All right.
4. 1. 4.
It's the 414 hour at 4.
Come on, they're going to have some swag
No way. I can't do that every day.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Take as little as 3 minutes to see if you could save on motorcycle insurance with Progressive. Come on, you've spent more time than that debating your accessories.
Could use some new riding gloves. Guess I'll go with black leather again. Just seems so basic. Wait, what if I did white leather? People be like, hey, this guy's different. Or they might be like, hey, this guy looks like a butler. Yeah, okay, black leather it is.
Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're in the market for a full-size 8-passenger SUV, look no further than the Defender 130. And with the Defender 90, the 110, and this 130, there's luxury in the right size for everyone. And now is the best time to take advantage of a great offer like this.
For a limited time, get 3.9% special APR rate for up to 60 months on new 2023 Defenders at Land Rover Waukesha. Go to LandRoverWaukesha.com.
Take it to the house this season and enjoy tailgating from your own backyard. Tito's wants to make sure you have the best tailgate on the block. You can win game day gear for your next gathering by entering to win at Tito'sTailgate.com. Be sure to enter by November 15th for your chance to win a Solo Stove Grill, a Brewmate back tap for batch cocktails, or a Tito's football jersey. For official rules, visit Tito'sTailgate.com. Must be 21 years old to enter. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by UW Credit Union. For over 90 years, UW Credit Union has helped Wisconsinites achieve their financial goals at every stage of life, offering great rates for greater possibilities. Join today at uwcu.org. The Wisconsin football team rebounded Saturday with a win over Illinois, bringing their season record to 5-2. Head coach Luke Fickell after the game.
I'm sure you all had your doubts, not unlike a lot of us. But I told those guys afterwards, this is the first time in 10 months that I've seen that out of our guys. Probably what makes me happiest. And it's not just finding a way to win. It's the resiliency. It's the fight, the grit.
The Badgers look to make it 2 wins in a row as they host Ohio State this Saturday night.
Badger Minutes on ESPN Wisconsin are brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule an appointment online today at PellaWI.com.
WWE Friday Night SmackDown returns to Milwaukee's Fiserv Forum, 6:45 this Friday. You'll see the greatest of all time, John Cena. Get some! Undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns, United States Champion Rey Mysterio, LA Knight, Charlotte Flair, the almighty Bobby Lashley, the Brawling Brutes, Solo Sikoa, the Street Profits, and many more in action. Tickets start at $20 at Ticketmaster.
It's on to level 2 for the Crusaders.
Has the first down. And a counterway blocker. Sidesteps one defender. Sidesteps that second defender at the 5. And he's into the end zone for a touchdown. Corey Smith, his second touchdown to the half.
This week, 2-seed Catholic Memorial takes on 6-seed Lake Mills. Cade Neitzel and Mike Podol are on the call starting at 6:30. Sponsored by the Bray Team at Shore West, Gerald Nell Inc., Wind Dancer Balloon Promotions, Mid-City Sports, Suburban Asphalt, Perspire's Sauna Studio, Edge Leadership, and Urchel Real Estate Group. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We're here for you to get the yuck out of your brain, out of your mind. As the Packers lose to the Broncos, they're 2-4. The most egregious part is how bad they looked off the bye. I mean, like, that was all I was asking for. An offensive-minded head coach off of the bye week. Give me something more than 0 in the first half. And give me something, like, honestly, this is going to sound bad as well. Like, even the Dontavian Wicks throw, like, that to me is like, man, we really don't have anything. We really got to stretch the bag here. Like, I'm asking for him to dial something up with his personnel. And the best they had was, I believe, who was it early? It was actually Dontavian Wicks who had the long run or the long catch and run for 15 yards. And then it was the orange. Like, they couldn't make plays outside of dump offs and check. I think Tausch is a big check down Charlie guy. I didn't even want to call them check downs or dump offs. It was just like, here, quick, boop, 1 yard pass, go. There was nothing to that game that made me feel like Matt LaFleur put the team in a good spot in the first half to be successful. Now, I do want to shift the conversation to how we got here, right? Because this is the time to break down, like, okay, if it's that bad, how did it become this bad? And I ask you, is it on Goody for the way he constructed the roster or on Matt LaFleur for the way he's coaching the youngsters? Tom in North Carolina, 800-990-3776. Who you got?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing great.
Good.
Love your perspective and your southern accent, as always.
I appreciate that. My perspective is this. I think that they're both to blame. And what I mean by that is this. Gutekunst evidently saw something that nobody else in the whole stinking football league saw. Moved up in the draft to get him. Yeah, granted, the guy's been sitting on the bench for 3 years, and now he's starting. But you look at LaFleur, and he's dialing up plays for this guy that makes no sense. He has no zip on the ball. Every pass he's throwing, he's floating. He is behind every receiver. Now, I don't blame him because I don't think he's the starting quarterback caliber. He might be a great journeyman and a backup, but Gutekunst is to blame for drafting the guy number one, and LaFleur's to blame. If it were me, I'd put him on the bench, start your backup, and then see what Love's worth. Because then you're going to give – right now, Jordan Love's just cruising going, okay, well, I think what you see is what you're going to get, and you're not going to get any more than that. So I blame them both.
And thank you for the call, Tom. What I will disagree with there is you extended Jordan Love, in which you gave him some guaranteed money for this year. He's playing a lot of his money for next year based off incentives. But you have to see. You have to. And trust me, if you want to see Sean Clifford, you don't, number one. And number two, there is no way in hell that Goody, who you just said moved up to get him, who he clearly believes he saw something in Jordan Love that others didn't, he's going to give him his fair shot as long as he's the general manager. Matt LaFleur will not be employed if he benches Jordan Love.
Well, it's interesting when you think about Matt LaFleur's journey with the Packers, because we can date back Goody's journey with the Packers of inheriting this roster with a Hall of Fame quarterback and certainly pieces of Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams, guys that made for the run that they had. Even David Bakhtiari, really marquee guys, right? And the 2000 to 2001 runs that they had of Aaron Rodgers playing MVP caliber football was unbelievable. But you have to remember that LaFleur was brought in to bring back out that type of play out of Aaron Rodgers, right? That's the whole reason. So we're going to bring in this new offensive guy, and he's going to take Rodgers and maximize Aaron Rodgers' ability, right? And maybe there's something to where maybe Matt LaFleur is just better with, everyone's better with Aaron Rodgers than Jordan Love, but there are some coaches that love teaching young guys. They love it. Even like Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is a young guy kind of coach, right? It's very you-rah-rah. It's very exciting. He loves molding them. I don't gather that's Matt LaFleur. I gather that this whole process of deconstructing that veteran kind of stud lineup that the Packers had all those years and then resulting in this, it's nothing but frustrate Matt LaFleur. And you see it on his face. You see it on his face on the sideline, at the podium. I think he's looking around saying, this is not what I signed up for. Now, it's on him to maximize and squeeze every ounce of productivity out of them. But
he's definitely wearing the frustration.
But he is I started with this. Now I have this. I am freaking frustrated.
That's why I said there needs to be a shift in a mindset. You look at his post-game quotes. You look at his demeanor on the sidelines. He's expecting for these guys to execute at a high level. And he's getting frustrated at when guys are four receivers in the same area, which ain't no way in the world anything is drawn up to be like that. Somebody should have said,
it looked like kindergarten soccer.
They were in little quadrants.
And I went and watched some kindergarten soccer on Sunday, or Saturday morning rather. They all shouldn't be in the same area.
They should not be. And the thing is, it's not about losing. It's about how you lose the game. And Matt LaFleur is showing that he does not understand how to lose these football games. And when I say that is, and I said it before, it's about losing, but seeing the bright spots from it. The silver linings from these games. I don't believe he's seeing any silver linings because all he's talking about is, how disappointed he's how disappointed he's for the team and how disappointed he is for losing, and how I want to hear something about some optimism of losing sucks. But you know what? A.J. Dillon, he ran hard. He made some big plays for us. That's the bright side. Jaden Reed, he made some good plays for us as well. Luke Musgraves caught the ball, and you know what? He got popped. He got up. Like the small silver linings that you can take.
He got
from this
hurt
game.
And left with a walking boot. I don't know if you knew that.
Wait, Luke Musgrave got.
Yes.
Oh, well, he got up. He got up. He got up after that game. But after that play? But what I'm saying is looking for some of the positive things to motivate these guys to get better. They're not that far off from winning games against bad teams. But again, stop focusing on trying to be a championship caliber team or being a playoff team when all you need to focus on is going from an inexperienced team to being more of an inexperienced team. Because at this point now, I'm ready to throw out Matt LaFleur. I'm ready to throw out Goody, because you're absolutely right, Ben. Goody deserves a lot of blame for this roster and the way this is constructed and what we have around Jordan Love and what we have on this defense, because we can talk about all these first-round picks, but you can only have so many busts, right? If you have bust after bust after bust, that means you're not good at evaluating talent at a high level. And I watch other teams are able to throw fourth-round picks in, fifth-round picks in, draft first-round picks that knock it out the park.
Who's the best player on the Green Bay Packers when healthy?
Jair Alexander.
You wouldn't put Aaron Jones there?
Oh, Aaron Jones is
yeah.
Aaron Jones is up there when healthy. Those are probably the two.
My
guys.
point is that I was hoping you would say Aaron Jones is Ted Thompson drafted Aaron Jones.
And he drafted best player available instead of trying to draft for need.
And so all I wanted to bring with that is this entire roster, it has Goody's handprint all over it. And this is interesting to me because a lot of people in many organizations, I'd like to your quick perspective, Brad, the head coach and the general manager typically work in tandem. General manager typically has the final say on who they draft and who they pick. But it's been reported that Goody doesn't value Matt LaFleur's opinion. He doesn't even go to the combine in Indianapolis. And as I talk about blaming Goody for the roster that's put out there right now, somebody texts in, Daniel, our official landscaper of KBN Nation, says Matt has say in those picks too, Ben, but he really doesn't. And that to me is where this all boils up to Mark Murphy and the way that he's designed who reports to who. Because Matt doesn't report to Goody. Goot reports to Murphy. Matt reports to Murphy. And so there's no connectivity between GM and coach. And I think we're seeing that play out evidently on the field right now.
This is why really great head coaches want the GM responsibility, because they know how important it is for those two things to be together. And most teams that I've been on and most organizations that I have awareness of, look, it certainly is GM has the authority to pick guys and make the final decision on the roster, and the coach has final decision with obviously implementing whatever the coaching philosophy is. But more often than not, probably at least 80% of the NFL franchises, they at least have a working relationship together where there's at least a conversation for sure on big things, big trades, first couple round draft picks, things like that. There is certainly professional conversations that are being had between GM and head coach so that they're on the same page, because the impact on the team is so massive. I can't think of an organization where it's a good thing where you have your two leaders that are completely siloed from one another when they're trying to work together for the same product. It makes no sense to me.
I would like to hope to believe what you're saying is not completely true, because I don't really like the excuse that Matt LaFleur gave for not going to the combine this year was the fact that he felt like...
We have Jason Woolley joining us at 3:45. We will ask him about the relationship between Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur.
Because I want to know, because the excuse that Matt LaFleur gave was the fact that, all this stuff is recorded, we can see it on film. Well, you know what? When you go to the combine, I've never been to the combine. Brad, you've been to the combine. Did you speak to any head coaches at the combine?
Yeah.
Okay. So you had an opportunity to speak to head coaches who are going to be the people working with you, right?
Yeah.
The people that get to pick kind of the personalities that they want with the team. You get as many people talking to these players. Why? It's because you have an opportunity to figure out what were your notes on him. Just like anybody, you go into an interview, you don't just go into an interview by yourself. You have a search committee, right? The search committee evaluates the person that you're searching to get for a certain position or for a certain job, and you look at your notes and you compare notes and you decide who you want. If you had the person who is calling the plays, the person who is working with these players on a day-to-day basis, not showing face at the combine, not being able to be there in that area, something is fishy, something stinks, and it smells of dysfunction.
800-990-3776. Who do you blame more, Goot for this roster or Matt LaFleur for not elevating it? We'll hit you, KBN Nation, next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN.
Is this like a KBN or is it like individual picture per page?
No, I was hoping
this is going to change the price.
It's like a calendar. You got your own page.
Okay,
your own page. Okay,
own page is one thing. I can do that, but if I got to be nude, taking multiple pictures for an hour next to y'all swanging and wanging all over the place, I don't think I want.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's a new era here in Milwaukee on the hardwood for the Pro Squad. It's NBA Tip-Off Week on ESPN Milwaukee, presented by the Jewelry Center. The best place to shop for diamond engagement rings in Milwaukee is the Jewelry Center. And the best place to get ready for the hoop season in Milwaukee is right here. Big name guests, big time topics, and the biggest games to start the season. NBA Tip-Off Week on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by the Jewelry Center. Learn more at shoptjc.com.
It's time for the Ortho ASAP Minute from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Dr. Sam Steiner is joining me. How important is it that actual surgery is viewed as a last option?
The way we always want to treat people is try and do something least invasive to get people where they want to be. And in some cases, that means talking to them, setting them up with a therapist, explaining what they have going on. And in other cases, if it comes to it, then yes, it means operating on them.
When you're dealing with very active people, how do you help them handle the entire process of recovery?
The hardest part with some patients is explain to them that even though you feel great, you do have to have a period where you lay off, you adhere to precautions and protocol. But I think when you take a person, you have them do the least invasive procedure. That's what we want to do, is we want to be forefront, cutting edge, doing the least invasive possible to get people back onto a protocol that gets them back into the activity they want to do the fastest.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
There's only one place in Milwaukee where every day of the year, dreams and reality get together for a great time. Where you can walk in a player and walk out a winner. That place, Potawatomi Casino Hotel. With fantastic dining, gaming, sports betting, a luxurious hotel, and endless ways to win, the excitement never stops. The only thing missing is you. Your win is waiting. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Visit our website to learn more. Must be 21 to enter casino.
What are we having for dinner? At Cousin Subs, we have a simple answer for this age-old question. A family 4-pack, of course. Now at participating Cousin Subs locations, you can get any 4 classic or deli fresh subs or subs in a bowl and 4 chips or regular fries for the limited time only price of $30 plus tax after 4 p.m. You heard that right. Feed your entire crew for just $30. Order in store at cousinsubs.com or via our app. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious accident? It's free. Yes, free, as in it won't cost you anything to speak with us. There's never a fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Who do you blame more for the the debacle yesterday. Goody for putting the roster together like this, or Matt LaFleur not elevating the roster he was given. And again, I put it out on Twitter, and a lot of people go with Matt LaFleur, and I 66% did, and I just, Goody is the one to blame for me. I will continue to hammer this home. Think about where we're at now and think about where we could have been if he would have invested more into, like, again, we'd probably be in the same situation, but wouldn't you rather have gone a little bit more all in, right? Like, draft that wide receiver in the first round, draft like more of an impact player than a running back like A.J. Dillon in the second round off of the the choices in which he drafted for the future, which is what the draft is for. I understand that. But coming off of the 2019 NFC Championship game, there were glaring holes, which was the run defense. They didn't address that with either of the first 3 picks. And there was an opportunity to add a very good wide receiver, and they drafted Jordan Love. And so you didn't go all in there. You rode Aaron Rodgers for 2 years in which he played at a high caliber with Matt LaFleur as his head coach, maybe covering up what Matt LaFleur is as a head coach. That's a debate for another conversation. But now you're at a spot where you're in a total rebuild, which wouldn't you rather have like gone all in and like buried yourself with a cap for the next 3 years and been in this situation? Because right now it feels like not going all in is putting you in the situation where you're in now, where it's like, well, we didn't really get anything out of it.
Well, a dark reality of the NFL is, for most people, particularly non-players, it's not enough just to win. You need the credit for the win. So if, in my opinion, and from what I've seen from many different characters and personalities that I've heard from other guys and I've experienced myself, is that requires you to put your own imprint on the team, even if it means going away from something that works. So I think about the Aaron Rodgers times with Goody. If Goody would have went all in and pacified Rodgers and just said, look, we want you here as long as possible. You're a first-time Hall of Famer. We need you. This team's going to be yours for as long as you want it. And let's figure out a way to make this a Super Bowl winning team again. And let's say they did win a Super Bowl. Do you think Goody's going to get a ton of credit for that? Because these are mostly Ted Thompson's guys. Aaron Rodgers is a Ted Thompson guy. LaFleur is going to get credit. Rodgers can get credit. Goody's not going to get any credit. He's going to get some credit, not as much as he'd like, though. And if it's consistent with the rest of the personalities in the NFL, particularly at that management type of level, they not only want to win, they want credit. And I think he wanted credit. And I think that Rodgers, yes, is also tough to get along with and all that kind of stuff, but you had it. You had the great players. And now look where we are.
Winning is everything. That's what it should be about. Forget your ego. You know what can cure your ego? When you look at your hand and you got rings on your fingers. When you look up in the banners that they have up, they say all these NFC championships. When you look at the revenue, when you look at the fact that they're talking about the Green Bay Packers every single year, that is the reason why as Packers fans we have this arrogance about us, because all we know is winning for the last 30 years. That's all we absolutely know about our team. And so I don't blame Matt LaFleur for this, because you know why? Matt LaFleur proved if you give him talent, and of course an elite quarterback, but you give him talent, his teams can win. He won a lot of football games for the Green Bay Packers. Now, he still needs to prove whether or not he can coach an inexperienced team, but this inexperienced team is inexperienced because of what Goody decided that he wanted to do. And the thing is, Ben, you are absolutely correct. The Packers should have went all in. What did the Eagles do? The Eagles missed by a little bit of what they do. They doubled up. They still drafted Jordan Davis, and then this year they drafted Jalen Carter.
They just traded for a safety from the Titans within 5 minutes.
And that's the thing.
Man.
They understand what the assignment is. The assignment is, let's not just be competitive. The assignment is not just win the division. The assignment is winning Super Bowl championships. And Goody has failed the organization. He has failed this team in trying to do that. What did the Dolphins do? They went and spent a whole bunch of money to go get a whole bunch of talent. That's exactly what they did. Why? Because they understood the fact that, hey, we're not too far off. We want to win football games. What did the Rams do? They salvaged their future for a couple of years. I mean, they're doing decent this year in order to win a championship. We think about what the 49ers have tried to do. They got rid of picks to do what? To bring as much talent around. What did the Broncos do? They said, hey, we're a quarterback away, so let's go get Peyton Manning. What did the Buccaneers do? These teams understand it's not about winning. It's about winning titles. And that is something that Brian Gutekunst has failed to understand about this. And you know what his legacy is going to be? It's going to be getting fired and not seeing this team ever win a championship.
800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-3776. A safe place for you to get your feelings out after the Packers lost to the Broncos yesterday, and another just horrendous first half off of a bye from Matt LaFleur. I know Chris is on the phone right now, but I do want to ask, on Twitter at KBN ESPN, with Mark Murphy retiring in 2025, because this plays a lot into the LaFleur, Goody, Love conversation. Who is most likely to still be here? Love, Goody, LaFleur, or none of those guys? Because I think if I'm here's what I'll tell you. If I am a general manager, or the next president of the Green Bay Packers, which is rumored to actually be true. I'm in the running of conversations. I've had early conversations with 1265. I've been invited in. They give me the red carpet.
I own the team, so you got my vote.
Here's what I would say. I would say, all right, I'm the team president now. Mark Murphy retired. You're telling me that right now Brian Gutekunst is the general manager. Okay. He's the general manager. Well, what's his resume? Right now, his resume is trading away 2 Pro Football Hall of Famers, drafting Jordan Love, and putting this roster together right now. If they do not improve, I'm like, hell with this guy. And so to Kyle's point, and to your point, Brad, about these general managers wanting to have their legacy and their fingerprints, he's going to have the shortest legacy and the shortest fingerprints of any general manager of the last 30 years here of the Green Bay Packers, by trading away 2 Pro Football Hall of Famers and putting Jordan Love out there with a bunch of young guys around, I would say, an average roster. They're an average roster at best, because we've seen the defense over and over. We don't even have to talk about the defense because they have so many more issues than the defense. And so I'm looking at that and I'm like, no. I'm looking at Matt LaFleur and I'm thinking, yeah, okay, you didn't win a Super Bowl. You didn't win an NFC Championship game. You had the number one seed at home against San Francisco, and you put, 13-10? You put up 10 points there. You're supposed to be this offensive mastermind with the MVP quarterback. Rodgers is to blame for that game too. But I'm just saying holistically, if I'm looking at it as this, they're all gone. And if those 2 are gone, Jordan Love is obviously gone. I think none of them will be there. I really do. I don't think any of those 3 will be there when the new president comes in for Mark Murphy.
Can I ask a quick question?
Hit me. Brad, whoever you're asking.
No, anybody. What has Goody done so far to keep his job? Like, if he got fired today, what has he done to actually say, hey, I did this? What has he done to keep his job? Name one thing he's done to keep his job.
Jordan Love. That's what I'm saying. He drafted Jordan Love to keep his job.
He went all in. His job.
No, I'm telling you, the reason why he has his job is because on his legacy and his fingerprints is what, if Jordan Love there still is a chance. You can't give up completely yet. And this is coming from me.
You can move on from GMs are a dime a dozen. You can keep funneling them through. What has he done to keep his job? It ain't Jordan Love. Well, even if Jordan Love good, he shouldn't be here.
I think he thought this would go a whole lot different, because he basically went an all-in bet on Jordan Love. Because think about it. If Jordan Love was the guy, and let's not say he's going to be the next Rodgers or Favre, but if he was a top 15, top 10 guy, he would be in general manager lore in the NFL, right? He figured out, again, how to go from a Hall of Fame quarterback to a capable guy, and he went all in on that. So, everything is hinged on him. I can't think of much he's done outside of that, but everything in his book and his reputation hinges on that.
800-990-3776. Nate in Germantown. Welcome into Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by the official beer of the NFL, Bud Light.
Hey, how you guys doing? Can you hear me?
Got you loud and clear, 10-4.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Hey, I know that Gutekunst didn't take over. I think his first draft was 2018. But I think the greatest swing and miss yet in the Packers draft history, can we agree it was 2017, drafting Kevin King and passing on T.J. Watt when they had an obvious needed outside linebacker? Now, I think Brian Gutekunst has done an okay job. I think I give him a C for draft grade, because he's hit some guys, but I think swung and missed a lot on his first-round draft picks. And I have the history pulled up here to prove it.
Let me just tell you something.
I think, was this
real quick. First-round draft picks are really those are the stars in the NFL. You got to hit in the first-round draft because that is the premium.
Absolutely,
player. You cannot miss. You can't say, "Oh, well, he did okay in the other round." And other rounds don't matter. Those guys are serviceable. The stars are made in the first round of the draft, and they're first-round picks for a reason.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I'm a believer in Rashawn Gary. First-round draft pick 2019. I think that was a great pick. The second pick in 2019, Darnell Savage. I think we're still waiting to decide what he's going to end up being.
Nate, just on timing here, I got to keep it rolling, and I can't stand for waiting on Darnell Savage. The Packers would have released Darnell Savage if they had not picked up his fifth-year option. He literally got benched last year in his fourth year, and they picked up his fifth-year option. He's on the team now because they had to have him on the team, and that's what you're rolling out as your best safety right now. Got to hit a break, 800-990-3776. So KB Adam Academy, we'll keep hearing from you, breaking down all things Packers Broncos. I was going to say Packers Badgers.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
I took a Civil War class in high school.
So what does Civil War have to do with Rosa Parks? Were there buses around in the 1860s, Ben?
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Even when you think you know what's going on,
maybe we do give Joe Barry a fake headset. He's not actually talking to the guys.
You can never be too sure. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
They said, Joshy, everything was on the table. I don't think that we should eliminate that as a possibility.
Put old game chatter in his ears so he thinks something is still going on.
Do it against the Chiefs. I mean, what's the line going to be there?
Morning 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
WWE Friday Night SmackDown returns to Milwaukee's Fiserv Forum, 6:45 this Friday. You'll see the greatest of all time, John Cena. Come get some! Undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns, United States Champion Rey Mysterio, LA Knight, Charlotte Flair, the almighty Bobby Lashley, the Brawling Brutes, Solo Sikoa, the Street Profits, and many more in action. Tickets start at $20 at Ticketmaster.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
A scoreless first half, a late game interception, a missed field goal, and plenty of opportunities going to the wait side in the Packers' 19-17 loss in Denver on Sunday. Something that Packers quarterback Jordan Love knows has to change.
We got to find a way that, just that margin for error, and we're not capitalizing on these end-of-game situations. And I think the situation is going to keep coming, keep being there until we find a way to, capitalize to go win.
Packers dropped to 2-4 on the season. This is their third straight loss.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
The all-new Ewald VW and Buick GMC on Main Street in Menomonee Falls is opening. Hey, it's Gabe Neitzel, hoping you'll join ESPN Milwaukee Tuesday, October 24th, live in Menomonee Falls from Ewald Buick GMC. I'll be on site filling in on the Homer Hour from 5 until 6, and then it's me and Stephen Watson for the season finale of On the Tee from 6 until 7. Stop by Main Street in Menomonee Falls, say hi, check out Ewald's selection in person, or visit ewaldauto.com for info. It's the Homer Hour and On the Tee, Tuesday from 5 to 7 p.m., live from the Ewald Buick GMC in Menomonee Falls.
I thought I was going to have to go through a hip replacement or some painful, unsuccessful surgery or be crippled the rest of my life.
Electrical engineer Dan Vogler had awful arthritic pain in his hips. Pain that not only affected him physically, but also emotionally. And it spilled over even to his relationships.
I was almost mean. If you're in pain and other people don't sympathize with it, you're lashing out at the wrong people.
But then Dan found QC Kinetics. With the latest advances in regenerative medicine, non-surgical treatments with lasting relief.
I felt immediate relief. I mean, within half a day, much of the inflammation and pain was down.
And today, Dan says he's totally pain-free, living the life he wants.
At the end of the fourth treatment, I felt pretty much healed and enthused and was raving about QC Kinetics. I can recommend them highly to anyone.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Just me and you tonight.
A safe place for you to get your feelings out after the Packers lose 3 straight and just looked at abysmal in the first half, coming off of a bye against a horrible defense in the Denver Broncos. Brian G chimes in. Jerry Krause, 608 chimes in. Brian G equals Jerry Krause without the wins. Destroyed a good team due to ego. Jerry Krause did have 6 championships, so you can give a little pass for that. I'm Ben Brust. He's Kyle Wallace, our huge Packer fan that is going through a lot of the swing of emotions right now. Is that fair to say?
It is, because I'm ready to get on you, too.
All right, hang on. We'll get to me in a second. Brad Nortman, 6-time, 6-year NFL punter Chris Larson run the show. Let's start with Derek and Waukesha before Kyle gets at me. 800-990-3776. Who do you blame? Goody for the roster or Matt LaFleur for not elevating them?
I would probably have to say the coaching staff, Matt Fleur, then Joe Barry on defense as well. I'm just concerned with all this draft capital we're putting on the defense, and we still can't find a way to get a top 10 defense.
It's obviously a major concern, but don't you walk away from the Broncos game less concerned about the defense and more concerned about everything holistically? Like, Joe Barry's the least of my concerns right now.
Yeah, I would say the offense. I mean, at the beginning of the season, I was all Jordan Love. I thought he was looking really good, and then after the first few weeks, it kind of fell apart. And what I'm really concerned with as well is Christian Watson. Last year I thought he was going to be the next Devontae Adams when Rodgers was throwing to him. And now it's like, even when he is healthy and on the field, I don't even notice he's out there. And I would give Jordan Love the benefit of the doubt as a rookie, but I'm seeing other rookie quarterbacks like C.J. Stroud, and he's tearing it up with the wide receivers that he has. So I don't know if that's necessarily an excuse anymore.
Well, it's definitely not, considering he's not a rookie. He had 3 years to learn the offense. He had 3 years to get comfortable. There is a advantage to that, but I think what he does say there that is interesting is he's comparing him to a rookie that has played better on a team that was, second worst record in the NFL last year?
And that's the exact reason why, if you get a top 4 pick, you have to draft one of those guys. Why? Because the earlier the quarterback goes, the more upside that they have. That's been, scientifically proven, but based off historical history, the higher the quarterback goes, the better they typically are. And Jordan Love, sorry, buddy, you weren't a superstar in college. You had errors in college where they said the deep ball accuracy was a problem. And boy, you ain't been in college since 2020?
Yeah.
That's when they drafted in 2020. So 2019 season.
So he ain't been in college since 2019, and he still has not fixed the deep ball issue. Sometimes you need to move on, and I just believe that I'd rather have C.J. Stroud right now than Jordan Love.
Well, and 3 years is a long time to develop and to really hone in your craft. And that's why I thought the first 3 games, first for sure a couple, it was like, okay, this is what happens when you get to sit for 3 years. You can grow and mature and be ready to be a starting QB after that time. But there's a lot of reasons, but Jordan Love does seem to be regressing, and it's maybe proving a case that he's not the guy, and you got to start figuring out who is then.
What's your beef, Kyle?
All right, so my beef. I got a lot of stuff going on here, but my beef is this. Now, Ben, we told you last week that we thought you were genuine when you picked the Packers, right? And I'm not saying you weren't being genuine when you picked the Packers, but Ben,
yes,
you are no longer allowed to pick the Green Bay Packers. Okay, you can pick it. You can go and bet and gamble. You better not say the Packers name out your mouth, because every time you have picked the Packers this season, we have absolutely lost. You are banned from picking the Packers. I'm upset about the loss, but I'm not discouraged because I know this team's not going to be good. But you can't pick the Packers no more. You can't.
You can't tell me what to do.
No, you're poison. I'm telling you, Chris. Mute his mic if you start. Turn it off, because you can't pick the Packers anymore, because every time you touch it, it's turned to trash. Why are you smiling like that? Do you enjoy seeing me like this?
A little bit. I'm not going to lie. If I'm going to be in this room hanging out, talking with you every single day, I like to see you worked up. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of fun.
I'm sitting there yelling at the TV screen. You know, this is how bad it got. I'm yelling at people, shaking hands and smiling after the game. That's how upset go in the locker room. What you smiling about? That's how upset I was.
I agree. Trust me.
I don't need to have you smirking at me 10 feet away.
I get that energy. Trust me. Like, there's nothing more infuriating to me that when you're off a bye and you lose to a bad team. And you're referencing Jordan Love post-game.
Jordan Love smiling and shaking hands. He's throwing an interception.
He dapped up somebody who's a nobody. Like, it wasn't even like Russell Wilson, who's also a nobody to me, right?
It was disgusting.
There's nobody on the Broncos that I would be like, yo, I got to hang out and trade jerseys or talk with this guy. I just threw an interception to end the game. Like, I love a when Devontae Adams ran over the photographer, I get it. He didn't mean to do it. Did he apologize? Yes, but I'd rather see that. You know why? Because that's competitive fire, right? You lose 3 games. Does it look like it affected anyone other than Matt LaFleur, who's like, holy crap, how did I get myself in this situation where I'm coaching nobody who knows where to run the freaking field? Trust me, I channel that energy 100%. But yes, I mean, look, Kyle, and this isn't me, trying to be like, oh, I hate the Packers. Jason Wilde said it. He thinks they were going to win 6 games. I bet under 7.5 because I just thought, with a first-year quarterback, with all the... And I could be wrong still. They could win 8 games. That's not the craziest thing in the...
They don't win 8 games. Stop saying that.
That's a death sentence right there.
Stop. Listen, nobody call into the show. Nobody. They're not winning 8 games. It's not happening, okay? The max is maybe 7. 7 will be a miracle, okay? Jonathan Brust is going to win the bet.
Well, luckily we didn't confirm that bet.
Because I'm telling you, the Packers ain't winning more games than the Bears. The Bears are progressing.
Who'd you rather be, the Bears or the Packers?
Both these teams are trash. I'd rather be blind.
But we do have some blind fans out there, so Kyle would like to join you sometime to listen to the show from the outside. 800-990-3776. We got KBN Academy. We got to get to Tausch's opening statement. We got Jason Wilde. We got a lot more with all of you, KBN Nation. 800-990-3776. More next in 2 minutes. Stay tuned. Congratulations are in order for Cedar Ridge Distillery's Original 86 Bourbon, the best-selling bourbon in Iowa for a 3rd straight year, making a home in Wisconsin. Ben Brust here to tell you more about Cedar Ridge Distillery's bourbon and whiskey. Aged in non-climate control rickhouses, the Midwest weather means Cedar Ridge products go through all the temperature swings. That means unique flavors. So it makes sense that the Quintessential is one of the highest awarded American single malts. Trust me, each bottle of Cedar Ridge is handcrafted with that Midwest feel. Learn more about their award-winning products at cedarridgedistillery.com.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service.
It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey.
Riding with you every mile since 1977.
Check out our brand new Hyundai dealership, one of the largest in the Midwest.
Step inside of our state-of-the-art showroom where you can view our new Hyundai models and some of our finest certified pre-owned.
We've also expanded our service center, staffed by our factory-certified technicians.
And right next door, we've started construction on our all-new Genesis of Waukesha dealership.
But we're not just building walls, we're building careers.
So if you're looking for a career with great benefits and opportunity for growth, Boucher is the place for you.
At Boucher, we ride with you every mile.
Heading up north for some golf? Be sure to book a tee time at the Ball Golf Course, an Arnold Palmer masterpiece just north of Milwaukee on the way to Kohler. It's the best destination for your next Wisconsin round of golf. Enjoy golf. Enjoy the Bog.
Right now, more than 100,000 children waiting in foster care need our help.
The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is focused on finding them safe, permanent homes. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Hey, this is Gabe Neitzel. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Kyle Wallace, the Kyle of Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, spiraling right now. Brad Nortman, 6-time, 6-year NFL punter with us, providing perspective. And myself, I want to say I was right, but it's starting to look like it. 800-990-3776, Chris Larson running the show. Again, 800-990-ESPN. And Chris, I would love to get this on Twitter at KBN ESPN. With Mark Murphy retiring in 2025, who's most likely to still be here? Love, Goody, or LaFleur? You can even add none. I say none. I really don't see a pathway. Unless Jordan Love, the last 10 games of the season, they got more than that. There's 11 games. 11 games. They're going to be playing a lot of games up until Thanksgiving because they had their long break after the Thursday Night Football game leading into Monday Night Football. They had their bye week. It's now or never, right? We're going to learn a lot up until Thanksgiving. And if they can't figure out a way to get this offense rolling in the first half against the Broncos, who are bad, I don't care who it is. I really don't. I fear the day they play the Pittsburgh Steelers because I don't care how incompetent the Pittsburgh Steelers offense can be at times. That is a defense that will make life hell. And so when you look at their next couple opponents, you got the Vikings who are next, and I believe the Rams. You have two teams under 500, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you know why? The Packers aren't good. And so, again, who will be here in 2025? LaFleur, Love, Goody, or none of them?
If you're going to go off of what's most replaceable and what is like more often replaced, it usually goes in this progression, right? Usually they'll go off the quarterback first, right? Then it'll be head coach, and then it'll be GM. It's like the GM turnover is not common. And then followed by that, it would be head coach, which is kind of like next more common. And then the most common, and just like pull the plug and start over, would be quarterback. So for me, I'm going to follow that trend. I think most likely to not be here, assuming this trend continues between now and the end of the season, most likely the quick change would be Jordan Love because they can get out of that Jordan Love contract with ease next year. And especially if they do poorly and they're going to have potentially a top 5 draft pick, you're probably going to pick somebody that's going to be a capable quarterback. So most likely Jordan Love to me. I think Matt LaFleur will probably also be gone. The only one that I think might hang on to it would be Goody. But I don't even think he's going to be there either. I think it's going to be a clean sweep. This is basically like, imagine like an ownership change, right? Imagine like another owner buys a franchise. That's basically is what's going to happen.
Brad, if I'm Goody and I'm coming to you and be like, hey, I'd love to keep my job, what would you say to me? Like, wouldn't you be like, you traded away Aaron Rodgers, you traded away Devontae Adams, you have Jordan Love and a young roster that's done what since I become president?
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that he has a whole lot to stand on because he's made this team and franchise worse for sure. I'm just saying it's not as easy to replace a GM as you think because there's not that many of them out there. There's not that many. I still think, for the record, I still think he's going to be gone. I'm just saying of the three, if I had to pick someone that is going to be there, I would probably pick Goody, even though I think he's most to blame. It's just hard to replace a GM. Doesn't happen very often.
He has zero accomplishments. Zero accomplishments.
You know what he'd maybe say? He'd say, hey, give me another year. These guys are young. That's the idea. That's what he'd say. That's what he'd say.
I wish this was Sirius XM satellite radio. You know why? Because when you said that, I want to say F that. That's what.
I know. I've almost swore a couple times today.
That's what I would want to say. I would legitimately, if they hire me as the president, I'm cleaning house, but it will be Goody. It will be Goody because I do not trust Goody. He has a record of not being able to hit it big. And it's about hitting big when it matters, and that's in the first round, in the early rounds, and he has not been able to consistently do that. So the reason why I get rid of him is because he's the one who has put these pieces on the roster, and he has showed, as the guy said, the caller called in, he said he gives them a C. Well, you know what? In the NFL, C means you're average, okay? We don't
Average doesn't win Super Bowls.
It does not win Super Bowls. I'm looking for an A, baby, and he's had enough time to tell us that he's average at his jobs. Yeah, he has some late-round picks that were decent, but at the end of the day, it's too many C's that we done drafted when we need A's, and so you got to get rid of Goody.
On Twitter, at KBN ESPN, for you to get involved. When the Packers president, Mark Murphy, retires in 2025, who is most likely to still be in Green Bay? Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur, Goody, or none of the above? 800-990-3776. JB and the V chimes in. They all need to go. Goody for creating this dumpster fire, Love for being garbage, and LaFleur for being caught up in the mess and not speaking up. It's interesting because Matt has not spoken up. He's spoken up in his own way of showing frustration. He's like, look, he's kind of doing like I don't know what you want me to say because I don't really know what I'm working with.
It's almost like he's the parent, and he's better at parenting teenagers than he's better at parenting infants. And he just went from like, okay, I'm like I'm like a boys and girls club leader or whatever, and like I can connect with teenagers.
Now he's daddy daycare.
Now he's in daycare, and he's like, I don't know how to connect with these kids. And I think he's up there just super frustrated. He doesn't know what to do.
That was a great analogy. Brett, you're knocking it out the park in the relationship. You know why? Because I was a substitute.
Big analogy day.
No, I was a substitute teacher. And when I did high school, I'm like, cool, I can talk to these high schoolers. When I did first grade, and all they did was say, teacher, help me with this. Teacher, help me with that. Teacher, they did this. Teacher, they did this. I said, listen, hey, everybody, the teacher does not care about your problems and issues, okay? Y'all need to sit down and be quiet. And Matt LaFleur...
They fire your ass?
No.
I mean, geez.
I decided I was not doing
I'm glad I ain't sending my future kid to your school.
Actually, they asked me to come back for a long term in middle school. That's a whole nother story. But no. The thing is this, you're absolutely right. He does not know how to handle...
The teacher doesn't care about your problems.
No, the thing is, they're saying teacher, 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 and Matt LaFleur is saying, listen, y'all, I told you to do that. And they're like, well, we don't... How do I do it again? They have no idea, and the disconnect is the fact that they're just not ready to process what he's trying to feed to them. That you know what they need to do? Just like in first grade, you progress. You go to second grade. You go to third grade. You go to fourth grade. You keep going and getting better, and that's why this year we shouldn't expect much. But Jordan Love is a fifth grader playing with first graders. And he ain't a good fifth grader. He's a C fifth grader.
800-990-3776. Our guy Chris in O-Town, who's famously, his wife cheated on him with his best friend. Matt's play calling is like watching my ex go on a date with her boyfriend. I'd rather clean bathrooms. The players are fine. Matt needs to coach better. Terrible play calling, Chris in O-Town. See, and that's where, like, Chris, I still, and I don't feel sorry about that because I think you've ended up on a better side of things. But I don't think the players are fine. That's the biggest conversation here is like whether you want to talk about the defense. Other than Rashawn Gary, who's a splash? Kenny Clark, since his big contract, he's been
been overrated.
Always, I would just say too inconsistent, right?
He's overrated. He doesn't pop. I want a guy that pops. He doesn't pop.
Who pops? Jair when he's on the field, but he hasn't been on the field. Rasul Douglas, guess what? I saw him missing tackles. He does a lot of talking.
I wonder, like, if you were able to take out LaFleur and put in Shanahan, and then take out Joe Barry and put in Dan Quinn, right? Like, those are some of the best guys in my mind. Do you think this would be any better? Maybe slightly better.
What do you mean? Of course it would.
It would be better. I mean, defensively, you'd be better. I think Dan Quinn probably can maximize. You know more.
But doesn't this answer your question though? Like, that's mainly coaching. You're saying then?
Well, defensively, I think it's coaching. They haven't been able to maximize. But as the Packers,
whether it's coaching or not, whether Kyle Shanahan and Dan Quinn became the head coach and defensive coordinator of this team and made this team 4-2 versus 2-4, it wouldn't change the fact that the roster still isn't good enough long term, if that makes sense. It could have been they could have been 4-2 with those coaches based off of the schedule, who they've played, but they're still nowhere near the conversation of competing with the Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. They're light years away from that. And with what they have, they're still, I mean, we can't play that scenario, which tells us We're beyond light years away from that.
Yeah, true. I just thought that was an interesting, and like if those guys are on the team, maybe that says it's more coaching than it is players. But I agree. We're not even sure we got the right players.
No, we don't have the right players. If you look back at the draft classes that he had, he has missed so much. Like, you can legitimately look at a 2018 draft class, and there is one player on this roster. His name is Jair Alexander from that draft class. You go into the 2019 draft class, you have Rashawn Gary, Elton Jenkins, and Darnell Savage, and one they don't even want on the team anymore from that draft class. You can't have draft classes where you're only getting 2 people and build out a roster. That's impossible. 2 times 5, that's only 10 dang players that you have from what you actually drafted.
Well, and not
especially because they don't typically go after free agents. The last time they went after big free agents,
typically ever.
Oh, not ever.
Okay, 3 times.
But no, a couple times. All it was Adrian Amos, Billy Turner, Preston Smith, and Zadarius Smith. That was a big investment for the Packers, helping them get to the 2019 NFC Championship game.
Oh gosh, I'm thinking like Charles Woodson.
No, I know. Trust me, I know.
I'm just Zadarius Smith.
I know, but that was
recent memory.
That is the most recent thing I can tell you, which they went to free agency and it helped bolster their team. And I'm helping your point, and since they don't do that often, they better be hitting at a higher clip than 2 out of 5.
Well, and again, it's not even like, okay, here's a blank slate, try to go remake this team, and he still drafted poorly. He dismantled a great team, right? You had the guys in the building that were the backbone and the bones of your entire team. You just need to fill it in to be able to give yourself more of a chance, and he didn't even like neutralize that. He undid it from the ground up.
Packers fans should just be so upset about this. We should be. We should demand better. We really should. And I need to hear something.
I thought as an owner you had say, why don't you do something about it? Or did you just pay $250 to sit here and complain?
Don't have me go up to Green. I'm gonna be in Lambeau for Green Bay game day on Sunday. Don't get me banned from
I thought
Lambeau.
I was the bad guy for getting Matt LaFleur to sign my jersey.
Don't get me banned from Lambeau. I didn't tell you guys I ran into Terry Stotts. Forgot to tell you that.
Well, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you all that.
Did you get the tea?
I was just thinking, I was too scared. I was too scared to bother him.
Did you introduce yourself?
Why was he here?
I did. Why is he here? What do you mean?
I figured he'd been like, I'm out of here.
No, he still lives here in downtown Milwaukee.
That'd be a pretty quick exit, wouldn't it?
It'd also be weird to be here.
The reason why I bring it
Terry
up because
Stotts, Bucks assistant coach heading into the season, that got into it with old Adrian and no longer with the team.
And so I don't know if I had the balls to be able to actually say something. I'm doing all this talking, and I'll get in front of Matt LaFleur. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Autograph? Look at my jersey. This is a Packer one. I'm doing all this talking, but I don't know if I got the balls to be able to say something.
Hey, you know that D-bag that made you sign a Jets jersey? I work with him. He sucks.
Yeah, we got something that we can relate with. Now be better so you don't suck like he does.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, 800-990-3776. We'll answer some more Packers-related questions from the weekend, maybe some Badgers as well, in KB Academy, where we take you to school next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
You experience it, you can't go back.
I got a sensitive tummy. And
so do I.
And so if I eat sushi and then I find myself sitting 10 hours later on the toilet, sitting there with my hands on my head, complaining about why did I do this, I'm going to come for y'all.
I guarantee you're eating other things in life that are upsetting your stomach more than what sushi will.
Yeah, I eat cheese all the time.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We do have an accident right now on 894 westbound, just as you're heading into the Hale interchange. The 2 outer lanes are blocked with this crash, so we have 2 lanes in the center getting through. Doesn't matter, we do still have big delays coming in from Loomis to that point. Also, a broken down vehicle just south of Layton has the left lane blocked. Southbound 43 going to be slow from Bender Road all the way down to about Locust. Traffic is brought to you by Fisco Auto Body. Call Fisco Auto Body to help with all body repair needs. Fisco. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Chance of showers, then partly cloudy, a low of 55. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, warm and breezy. A slight chance for a morning shower, a high of 75. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Football Guy.
My biggest criticism of what they did from a roster building perspective is that they gave him no one of experience to throw to. No one.
Football Guy.
Yeah, I just think that this team is better than what they put out there on Monday. I am not buying all this. I get they're young.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by Coors Light. Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN. And available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Get to and from every home game in Green Bay this football season safely. Milwaukee Broadhouse, Jack's American Pub, and Wanakee Golf Course all offer transportation on game days. They've got bus services with private restrooms and all-you-can-drink packages. Book your round-trip ride from any of these locations and get complimentary access to an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate at the bar on Holmgren Way. Make your reservations now. There's still room for the October 29th and November 5th games. Visit MilwaukeeBroadhouse.com to book your trip today.
We all have someone we know or love that has been affected by some form of cancer.
No matter how well you love and support them and try to be there for them, you can never really know what a person is feeling after hearing the words, "You have breast cancer."
Only another person that has been through this experience can really understand what it feels like.
ABCD, After Breast Cancer Diagnosis, is a Milwaukee-based organization known around the world.
When someone calls ABCD, they are matched with a mentor who is a breast cancer survivor of similar age and has the same type of breast cancer who can provide hope when people need it the most.
Kessler's is excited to announce that we've designed 3 new Hope pendants to honor breast cancer patients, survivors, thrivers, and caregivers.
100% of the net proceeds, along with an additional donation from Kessler's, will support ABCD when you purchase the symbol of hope.
You can find a link with more information about ABCD, along with all 3 modern designs starting at just $75 in sterling silver and $598 in gold, online at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Hi, this is Wayne Larrabee, the voice of Green Bay football. You know, fans count on me to make the right call every time, and I can continue to do that thanks to Summit Eye Care of Wisconsin. When my vision began to drift, my eye doctor said Summit Eye Care was the best place to go. Using the latest adjustable implants, the doctors at Summit were able to fine-tune my vision. In fact, my vision is now the best it's ever been. Summit Eye Care was the right call to help me see all the action on game days.
To schedule an appointment at one of their locations, visit summitiwi.com.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust. Men can be their own worst critics, especially as we get older and compare our current self to the younger version. The experts at Forward Healthy Lifestyles in Germantown help men with testosterone optimization, regenerative medicines, heart health screenings, weight loss, and yes, sexual enhancement services. Forward Healthy Lifestyles can offer regained energy and endurance, more muscle and tone, enhanced performance, joint therapies, and more. Change your life and stop comparing who you are now to who you used to be. Visit forwardhealthylifestyles.com for a free consultation.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Goody, Matt LaFleur, Mark Murphy, Jordan Love. Other? I tend to believe it's one of those 4. If you want to point blame, that's where you got to look. 800-990-3776. It's Kyle Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, presented by the official beer of the NFL, Bud Light. Kyle Wallace still in his feelings after the loss yesterday. Brad Nortman, 6-time 6-year NFL punter with us, and Chris Larson running the show quickly before KB and Academy. Jake in Milwaukee, make it quick, 800-990-3776.
Hi guys, I think that game yesterday showed us why Jordan Love is not the future for the Green Bay Packers. They had an extra week to prepare. He went up against one of the worst defenses in the league, and they struggled. And Matt LaFleur, as you can see, does not trust him as a quarterback. Hence the reason his percentage by passes over 10 yards is 38%. Jordan Love's not the future. They need to go back in this next year's draft and get a new quarterback.
Thank you for the call, Jake. I think a lot of that was valid. What I will say is it's hard for me to be like, that's the game, right? Like I don't think I'm there yet. I don't think you can close the door completely unless it becomes so evident that it's like Nathan Peterman bad, 7 interceptions in a game bad, right? Like he's still showing that, like, all right, there was a 3rd down completion in which everything was blocked in front, the progressions worked, and I believe it was Jaden Reed who we found on the left side for a 1st down. And I was like, that was reminiscent of what I remember watching against Atlanta, against New Orleans in the 4th. Like that to me was like, whoa, all right, that's what I remember him being comfortable with. But I think the thing that hits me most there is the trust factor. Because I sent you guys a text message that Rob Domofsky, which we'll hear from on Wednesdays on our program, Rob had highlighted his passing 20-plus yards down the field. Think off the top of my head, I think it was 6 of 27 And that's not good. And a lot of his interceptions have come from that. He has not been good throwing the ball down the field, and so that limits the playbook. That limits how much Matt LaFleur will actually open up for Jordan Love, and that's why we saw check down Charlie, as Tosh would say. Not a lot of trust in QB1 right now. We'll dive into more of this in KBN Academy.
In radio, our goal's pretty simple.
Just so you know, we really suck.
Have an A show or an F show.
Hey, I'll decide who sucks around here.
The same goes for topics in this next segment. This is the KBN Academy.
Those that can't do, teach.
KBN Academy is presented by Circa Sports. Play the Circa Million and Circa Survivor with $14 million in guaranteed prizes only at Circa Sports. Enter in Vegas, play from anywhere. Visit circasports.com for details.
It is the KBN Academy. Professor Nortman, Professor Walls, Professor Brust here. Give us some questions. You got to give an A or an F. There's no in between. There's no B's, C's, or D's. So how about this one? The Packers have been outscored 63-6. Yes, 63-6 in their first half of their last 4 games. That's bad. A or F? You blame Matt LaFleur, the coaching staff, for the slow starts.
Give me an A for this one. I do blame Matt LaFleur and the coaching staff for these slow starts. That is the thing that the coaches have most control over is the first quarter. Because everything that you've talked about, you're really able to implement. You can do your play script. Everyone should know what they're doing, where they're going, and what the plan is. And look, I know that the Packers don't have great players because they're so young and they're so inexperienced. But at some point, it cannot be this one-sided. These are still NFL football players, and it's Matt LaFleur and the coaching staff that is creating this lopsided first half.
Yeah, that's not even close. Which one is the coach's fault? A or F? A?
A.
That's 100%. 100%. Who else fault with it? It's not the players. It's the coaches. The coaches, like you said, it is their job to prepare these young men to go out there and to execute, and they continue game after game to fail to execute the game plan. You had 2 times to have.
But isn't the execution of the game plan the players?
The players have to execute it, but if you have multiple times where you know what the issue is, right? At some point, you should be able to solve it. It shouldn't be game after game after game where we see the exact same thing happening. You have to do some type of adjustment. You had a long layoff before the Raiders game. You failed. You had a long layoff before this last game against the Broncos. You failed. You failed twice. This is on the coaching staff.
Yeah, I was just playing a little devil's advocate because this is 110% A. I talked about it all freaking last week. The Broncos, heading into this game, had given 200 points up through 6 games. 33.3 points per game. 400-plus yards per game. And guess what the Packers did? They laid an egg in the first half where, Brad, they have the most control over the outcome. You can get your play script ready, right? Like, you can set up, like, anything. With creativity. Anything, right? Like, where's the shot to Christian Watson like you did against the Vikings week 1? Like, something, right? Like, dial up something.
You just told him to underthrow it and get picked off?
Sure. Mr. Negative right now. I'm just trying to look at it, what they could have done differently. I'm trying to find solutions
I see
here.
why he didn't do it. That would be bad coaching, too.
So he can't win in your eyes?
Hell no.
Would you rather go down swinging or go down dumping it off?
Well, when you go down swinging, it seems to fall into the hands of the other team. So, I don't know, okay?
Golly gee, Williker, he's in a bad place today, Brad.
He is. It's tough to see. Usually it's all that positive energy. Now it's just taking
Am
a
I
dark
Debbie
turn.
Downer? Am I downing everybody?
But I get it.
I,
It's okay.
I wouldn't say you're Debbie
Experience
Downer.
your feelings.
You're just incredibly negative.
Did you watch the game? What do you mean? What, everything I saw in that game was an F. Everything was an F. Defense is an F too because they fail. Whenever we need them, they always fail. So I could care less about what the defense did.
It's like scathing. That's the thing. It's like hot.
Well, and I kind of wait for Kyle to switch gears and be like, but like here's the positive. Nope, not today.
Oh,
we're all burning in hell.
I got a lot of notes. Okay, I got notes for days. So
look at that.
Whatever I don't get off my chest tomorrow. Don't wait. I got more to get off my chest tomorrow.
Well, the Packers currently own the number 7 pick in the NFL draft for next year. Think about that. That's a top 10 pick, Kyle. But your guy Goody would be the one picking it. A or F. See, that's me setting him up to just don't screw it up. A or F, you are ready to tank and get a higher pick.
I don't know. I hate the idea of tanking personally. I'm Okay, I'm going to go with an F on that one because I hate the idea of tanking and the idea of like actively losing and what that does for your culture. I don't even think a higher pick is worth that. I will say I still think this team is going to try to win and they're going to keep losing. So I think it excites me if we have a top 10 pick, but I don't think to make decisions to actively lose is ever the right thing to do.
Listen, it's okay. It's okay to lose if it's part of the bigger project, and I think that's the problem. It wasn't part of the bigger project, bigger goal that I almost said Milwaukee Bucks, the Green Bay Packers have. So I'm also with that. No tanking, but this team is going to lose regardless. They're not going to win close games, so they have no idea how to win close games. We've seen it week in, week out. We saw the miracle that happened in against New Orleans and Green Bay.
Oh, now it's a miracle.
It was a miracle. It was a miracle.
Now it's a miracle.
It was an absolute miracle.
After that game, the Packers were favored to go to the playoffs, and you were eating Jordan Love cookies and calling him the next best thing to ever play quarterback.
The cookie went down good. Now it did.
It did taste good at the time, didn't it?
Now my stomach hurts just knowing that I ate that. I put that poison in my body.
I figured you would have said it already came out.
I mean, I didn't want to talk about throwing up or anything like that.
No,
it can go in other ways?
Yeah, it can go out the back. That's normal.
No, cookies don't go out the back.
It stays on the hips forever.
Yeah, don't they? Yep. That's what all people say.
You're not a dad, but that was... Oof.
Yeah, so what, F, A? I don't know.
Everything's an F for you.
Everything's an F for me. So
yeah, you know what? Everything's an F for you. The answer is F. I'm not ready to tank to get a higher pick because, Brad, you took it. They're going to be bad. Like, they're not a good football team. Everyone knows that. Packer fans know that. Mark Tauscher, in his opening statement for Green Bay Game Day postgame show, said, tell me how this is not a bottom 5 team. Brian Balaga says the same thing. There are enough eyeballs to watch football to know that this team is not very good, and you have enough evidence now through 6 games because you played bad teams and you're 2-4. Right? It's not like they're 2-4 and played the gauntlet of the Eagles. Then they went into the Bills. I mean, even the Bills. You get my point. Like, they're not playing the juggernauts. They're playing a lot of average football teams, and they're still bad.
So if the Packers were the remainder of the season, they win 3 or 4 more games this year. If they're like scoring points in these games, and it seems like there might be some,
that's what happened with Aaron Rodgers. And I know the teams were set up differently, but yes.
But would that make you have a more positive outlook? Because I know for me, that would make me have a more positive outlook. I can't watch a defense that I know is trash, and then an offense just look lethargic and garbage for an entire game. That would make me a little bit more happy to see a team actually give me some hope.
It might be a long 11 weeks, brother.
Yeah, I think it will be. I mean,
I don't know. My stress level can't help. I need to start taking some medication.
I do think, look, if the offense starts playing better, it might change your dynamic a little bit because but
here's the thing. I'm going to stop you there. What has made us think that the offense is going to play better? They couldn't play good against the Raiders, who just gave up 28-plus points to the Bears with a backup quarterback that was an unrestricted free agent who had 2.6 pass yards per attempt.
I mean, I got nothing for that. I mean, I have no proof to think that it's just a matter of, like, do the guys grow up quickly? But we don't know if this is inexperience or just bad football players.
I'm legit ready to cry.
That is upset you?
You said 11. You said 11 more games of this.
It's possible.
Listen, I don't do drugs.
It's likely, honestly.
That cookie needs to have some edible stuff in it before get through this season because I don't know how I'm going to do it because I'm going to have to keep myself low because I'm going to get too excited during these games.
Just come watch the Packer games at my house. You'll be okay.
Let's see. I can't watch games with people, especially if they say things I don't like.
That's not what I was going for, Kyle.
Oh.
Jeez.
Did you get it?
I got it.
Oh, okay. I'm on a slow track.
even Oatmeal Brad got
about the game.
Even Oatmeal Brad got
right.
it.
Oh my goodness! I legitimately it went over my head.
Well, cheers to and pouring out. And if you have any 800-990-3776, if you want to cheers to something, you can. If you want to pour one out for somebody, you can. 800-990-3776. That's next.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
When I'm, again, doing the Pack Arena, and as a shareholder, when I'm sizing up my ring,
I'm sizing up my ring
Pack
Arena right now.
1 pack of 2 pack of 3 pack Arena.
Hey.
What's the words? Jordan Love to Christian Watson. Nay, that's a touchdown.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We've got got some backups still with an accident on westbound 894 heading into the Hale interchange. The outer lanes are blocked right now, just the center lanes allowed to get through. So obviously seeing big delays back to Loomis. Southbound on 894 slowing down from National Avenue down and around the Hale. Westbound 94 slow out of the Marquette interchange through the stadium, and southbound 43 on and off the brakes from Good Hope Road all the way down past Locust. Traffic is brought to you by Great Lakes Dragway, a quarter-mile-long drag strip plus a drift pad. Even drive your own car on the track. Find full event schedule and ticket information at greatlakesdragaway.com. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, chance for showers, partly cloudy, a low of 55. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, warm and breezy, a slight chance for a morning shower, a high of 75. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, this is Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. You have undoubtedly heard me talking about Mentality by now, and its greatness. But don't just take it from me. Hear my pal Jason talk about what Mentality has done for him.
I realized that, Father Time is undefeated, and missed the feeling of being in my 20s again. I was like, what the heck, why not? Got to give it a try. This is the one shot that we have, so I want to feel like that spring chicken again. So I went to Mentality, and it's been an amazing experience ever since. My only thing that I wish I could change that I went sooner.
Get started today at LoTUSA.com.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and you gotta love finding change in the junk drawer, or even better, a 20 in your laundry or pants pocket, right? But the best source of extra cash may be in the walls of your home. All right, wait. Now, put down the sledgehammer and tap into the value of your house by setting up a home equity line of credit and experience a state of tranquility, knowing funds are there when you need them. Get started at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
What does the skeleton say before dinner? A bon appetit. And why did the ghost go to the bar? For the booze. Yeah, Halloween jokes can be corny. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Since 1960, we've provided the most spooktacular selection and savings in town. From skull-shaped vodka bottles and pumpkin cream liqueurs to adult trick-or-treat bags and your favorite seasonal wines and beers. We've got the spirits to get you in the spirit. Combine our selection with everyday low prices and 2 convenient locations, and Discount Liquor is the one trick-or-treat stop you can't skip. Discount Liquor, locally owned and family operated with 2 locations, in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow and Maine. See all of our specials at DiscountLiquorInc.com.
Discount Liquor.
The Bog in Saukville is Ozaukee County's best golf experience. 18 championship holes designed by the legendary golfer Arnold Palmer, settled amongst 250 acres of beautiful private land. The Bog caters to golfers of all skill levels, offering a golf experience unlike any other. Come enjoy the finest golf greens in Wisconsin, and after your round, enjoy a bite to eat in our restaurant or out on our new patio bar overlooking the 18th green. It's time to golf, Wisconsin. It's time to enjoy the Bog.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at WIPGA.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Tell me now, do you want it? 'Cause these dancing feet don't.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, presented by the official beer of the NFL, Bud Light. I'm Ben Brust. Kyle Wallace going through all the emotions. Brad Nortman, 6-time 6-year NFL punter. And Chris Larson, homeboy Chris, running the show. That music means we're being joined now by Jason Wilde of Wilde and Tausch, which you can hear across these stations from 9 to noon. Jason, welcome in.
Homeboy Chris Larson?
Homeboy Chris, right, Chris?
That's right, yep.
Wow.
Word.
Word to your moms. Nice. I like it.
Jason, thank you for joining. I know you just got done with a little bit of media availability. Did you get any answers as to what Matt LaFleur is going to do to stop being outscored 63-6 in the first half the last 4 games?
Yeah, they're certainly trying to figure it out, and obviously that is a really bad statistic and one that everyone wants to point out, and rightfully so, because you play that poorly in the first half, it makes it really hard for you to win games. And when I look at this team, they've had 3 games now that they've lost where they had the ball in their hand at the end of the game, that if they score there, they win the game. Unfortunately, if you don't play well in the first half, that's the margin for error you have, and they failed all 3 times. So they need to figure it out. I think, LaFleur, I asked them about that just a little while ago. I think the biggest struggle for them is that he still has not quite figured out what exactly is going to work for guys early in games. He didn't say this, but I think if he's being honest, he's probably being a little conservative early in games, feeling like, that he has to keep things simple for this young group and for this inexperienced quarterback. And so I think you put that kind of stuff together, and that's how you end up, kind of looking like you don't know what you're doing early in the game. And that's exactly how they have looked.
Jason, we haven't touched on this yet, but I got to ask, Aaron Jones, he had all that time off to recover. He's healthy. He's practicing. He's in the lineup. He gets 11 touches. A.J. Jones, clearly the more feature back with it. Do we know anything more that's going on with Aaron Jones as far as his health? Should we just expect him on a pitch count the whole year? Have you gotten any more clarity over him? Because he's in a very important part of this offense that's, his presence leaves a void.
Yeah, he's definitely not fully healthy. I mean, they played him, 23 snaps yesterday? I think it was 36% of the snaps.
Yeah, and Kevin Harlan was shouting it out like it was like propaganda for the Packers. He was like, hey, he's going to be on a pitch count. And it's like, oh, jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the Broncos had a pretty good idea of that. And as Brad pointed out, I thought A.J. Dillon had probably his best game of the year, right? I mean, he ran physically and hard, and that's progress with him. I still think he's not playing well enough, and they need even more from him, especially if Aaron Jones is going to be on that pitch count. But I thought he played. I was not surprised that Aaron Jones played as little as he did. I did not expect him to play 50 snaps yesterday, and he didn't. And so you're right; it does leave a void. And one of the reasons I would argue that they're struggling offensively is because their most experienced and dynamic offensive player isn't playing his full complement of reps. And if he's on the field more, he makes, as Adam Stenavich said to us last week, something cool always happens when he has the ball. Now, I'm not sure a whole lot of cool things happened yesterday. He did have the catch on the throw by Dontavion Wicks, but they need to get him more involved. But if he's only playing 23 snaps, that makes it awfully hard. And I don't know. I don't know enough about the physiology of Aaron Jones to fully understand how something that he downplayed in the immediate aftermath of the Chicago game and claimed he could have gone back into the game has become this lingering issue that even when he plays, he's not able to play a whole lot. And that is a major issue for this team, and we probably don't talk about it even as much as we do talk about it, probably not enough as a reason for why they're not getting off to faster starts offensively, because he is the kind of guy early in the game who can give you that explosive play or pick up the third down when it looks like he's not going to get there, and then suddenly things change and you pick up your offense, and there's a more of a confidence and more of a mojo to it, because right now in the first half there is zero mojo offensively.
We're speaking with Jason Wilde's Packers reporter and also co-host of Wilde and Tausch that you can hear at 9 to noon every day or every weekday on ESPN Wisconsin. And Jason, this has been quite the frustrating day for me after watching yesterday's performance, and I've come to the realization that this team, they're not good and they're not going to win a lot of games this year. Do you think they've realized that this is actually a rebuilding year and not a year they should be expecting playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think if we're all being honest and realistic about what they are and who they are, then we shouldn't be overly surprised by this. I'm not. I was more surprised at how good they looked against Chicago. But and look, the loser's lament is always, well, if this play goes another way or that play goes the other way. Like there was a year where it was before my time, but Lindy Infante was the coach, and some of the older reporters that were here before me tell the story of the year that they went 4-12, and Lindy saying we were 6 plays away from going 10-6.
And I'm 6 inches away from being 6'8".
I understand how that sounds, but I do think it's important to recognize that for a team with a bunch of young guys who are inconsistent and who make crucial mistakes, they had another, LaFleur did let it slip or chose to let it slip. That one on one of the other third down plays in the first half when they didn't get anything going offensively, they busted a route that the guy ran the wrong route. You can't do that. Like that screws everything up, right? But in spite of all that, they have now the Raiders game, the Broncos game, and the Falcons game this year. In spite of all these shortcomings and all this inexperience, they had the ball in their hand with a chance to go win the game. And so I don't think that they're like light years away. It's not like they're getting blown out and getting run out of the gym each week. And they're in those positions in spite sucking in the first half. So, that now, does that speak also to the quality of their opponents? Probably. Certainly that's a factor. But, it's not that they're, light years away from and I'm sure, Brad, you played on a Super Bowl team. You also played on an AFC Championship game team, and you also played on some teams that struggled. I'm sure most teams that lose are able to look back and go, well, this game, if we just make this play, it's potentially a totally different game. But in the Packers case, there's plenty of those plays in the first 3.5 quarters, and then they still have a chance at the end. And on the flip side, you could argue that they took that lead against the Saints, and they probably should have lost that game because that's a very makeable field goal that the Saints missed at the end. So the margin for error is small. I don't believe that they are just this awful team. I think that's how it feels when you lose to 2 teams that aren't very good themselves. But man, oh man, you can. Tausch thinks I'm crazy, but I see the glimpses of what they can be. I'm not sure if they will be that this season, but I can see the flashes of
Jason,
potential.
what are those glimpses, though? Because I think people are curious right now.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a play by it's a every so often there's a play that you're like, okay, that's exactly how it's supposed to look.
Other than the Jaden Reed first down where Jordan Love had time, I can't think of a play where I was like, that's one play.
Well, he's got to throw to Dobbs at another point. There's the throw across the middle to Dontavion Wicks, who makes a fantastic catch. I think he's a guy that people should be excited about. He's got.
I like that, Jason.
He's got a lot of the qualities that you want in a young receiver, and not just because he can throw the ball too. Apparently, I don't think that there is just this complete void of playmaking. Here's another example. The throw that Love misses on the final drive that Watson gets hurt on. That is a throw that he has to make. He can't miss that throw. It's such a critical throw, and he has it there, and he misses it. And then they get the holding penalty, and then which was, I didn't think, a good call, and then they're 3rd and 20, and then, he throws it down the field, and we know what the result is. And there was a quote from Simmons, their safety, who said that actually was the perfect play call. The Broncos just were better. And I think, frankly, the throw by Love hung up too long in the air, and that's what allowed them to pick it off. But he should have checked that down. And that's something that will come with experience. He will see that it isn't there. He'll recognize it quicker, and then he'll check it down, and then they'll have a chance on 4th and 12 or whatever to try and pick up the first down. I think everyone just doesn't want to. No one wants to live through this process. I get it. Frankly, Matt LaFleur doesn't want to do it either. But this is the reality of the way they've chosen to structure their team. And I believe that when you watch young players, like Homer has long said, you have to recognize when they do things well, because that shows you what they're capable of. They're going to screw up. The Ben Brust who played as a freshman was not the same as the Ben Brust who played as a senior. And that just stands to reason. And, even these guys that are second-year guys, remember, Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson both missed significant chunks of their rookie seasons with injuries. Neither one of them played 50% of the snaps last year. So they basically played less than half the season. So they're the second-year guys. They're the most experienced guys, but they're still really learning. Like, I would argue that Romeo Doubs, in theory, we were talking about this morning on our show, is the number one receiver. Well, then why the hell does he disappear for long stretches? I would argue it's because he's inexperienced still, and he hasn't found ways to get himself consistently open. And maybe he never will, or maybe that light will come on between year 2 and 3, or maybe that'll come on later this year.
Or he's just not good enough.
Maybe, but I don't think that's the case. Like, you see some of the things he does. I'll be honest, I'm not sure, out of the 6 guys they have on the active roster at wide receiver, maybe Wicks is able to hold on to that ball, that simultaneous possession. But the dude, he has really strong hands. And Romeo Doubs makes a play there, which, by the way, was officiated correctly. I don't know what Gene Steratore.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
But the bottom line is that I see enough encouraging things that I don't want Packers fans like Kyle to be so downtrodden. But Tausch keeps telling me it's not my job to do this, so I'm going to stop telling fans it's going to be okay. I do feel like I'm a little Rodgers-ish with the relax. I feel like I'm trying to do that for this team, and it's not working all that well, so I'm just going to stop doing it.
Well, I think Kyle appreciated it. Jason, thanks so much for the time, and we look forward to talking to you Thursday.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
That's Jason Wilde of Wilde and Tausch, which you can hear weekdays, Monday through Friday from 9 to noon. I know somebody that he references is a big fan of Gina Della from Pella, and somebody here is as well.
If there's one team that we can count on, it is Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, led by our friend Gina Della. And this is the team we can count on because they just keep on executing any play you need. You want to open up your window, let that nice autumn breeze in there, check. The cold air coming, I saw that next week. Close it and fortify it. Durable, stylish. They have blinds that go between the glass now, between their windows. Unbelievable things that Pella Windows and Doors just continues to deliver on. And that includes installation, which is completed in as little as a day, leaving no mess, no hassle, just the perfect results that Pella Windows and Doors always gives you here in Wisconsin. So schedule your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Cheers to pouring out next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN.
I nailed it, though. I said, she didn't go to the back of the bus. She said, I ain't moving.
Yeah, you right.
I'm not leaving.
Well, I'm
not bleeping leaving.
No, you right.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. From the tee box to the green and everything golf related in between.
Who's number one?
Max.
Yeah, Max Homa's number one. It's not even close, right?
On the tee with Gabe Neitzel and Stephen Watson.
Just because he's been so open and honest already, you get a couple drinks in that guy. Like, how open is he going to be?
On the tee with Gabe and Stephen. Presented by Wisconsin Golf Trips. Tuesday night at 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN. And available with Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Wayne Larrabee, the voice of Green Bay football. You know, fans count on me to make the right call every time, and I can continue to do that thanks to Summit Eye Care of Wisconsin. When my vision began to drift, my eye doctor said Summit Eye Care was the best place to go. Using the latest adjustable implants, the doctors at Summit were able to fine-tune my vision. In fact, my vision is now the best it's ever been. Summit Eye Care was the right call to help me see all the action on game days.
To schedule an appointment at one of their locations, visit SummitEyeWI.com.
Men's wedding bands made from whiskey barrels and meteorites.
Welcome to Kessler's.
The all-new Potawatomi Casino Hotel has something you gotta see. Play more slots and games, and you could say, "Show me the money" to reveal up to 10 grand each Thursday. 800,000 in prizes is up for grabs. 40 winners each week. This October and November at Potawatomi, Milwaukee. When you're ready to win, just say, "Show me the money." More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
What are we having for dinner? At Cousin Subs, we have a simple answer for this age-old question. A family 4-pack, of course. Now at participating Cousin Subs locations, you can get any 4 classic or deli fresh subs or subs in a bowl and 4 chips or regular fries for the limited time only price of $30 plus tax after 4 p.m. You heard that right. Feed your entire crew for just $30. Order in store at cousinsubs.com or via our app. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
One call, that's all. It's not just a slogan, but a way of life at Gruber Law Offices. If you've been injured, call our team today. We've represented tens of thousands of injured Wisconsinites for well over 30 years. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
A scoreless first half, a late game interception, a missed field goal, and plenty of opportunities going to the wait side in the Packers' 19-17 loss in Denver on Sunday. Something that Packers quarterback Jordan Love knows has to change.
We got to find a way that, just that margin for error, and we're not capitalizing on these end-of-game situations. And going for, I think the situation is going to keep coming, keep being there until we find a way to, capitalize to go win.
Packers dropped to 2-4 on the season. This is their 3rd straight loss.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. Visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Right now, I'm ready to go right now.
And if you're ready to go to every Packers home game this season, we got a spot for you. Milwaukee Brown House, Jack's American Pub, Wanakee Golf Course, all offer transportation on game days. They have bus services with private restrooms and all-you-can-drink packages. And I've been through it. I went to the New Orleans game. I hopped on the bus after checking in. They gave me my badge for my bus, the all-you-can-drink eat and drink pass for the bar at Holmgren Way. They have it all figured out for the games on October 29th and November 5th. There is limited room available. So book your round-trip ride and get all access through the official ride of Green Bay by visiting golfwanakee.com or milwaukeebroadhouse.com to book your trip today. Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Again, 800-990-3776 on Twitter at KBN. ESPN is where you can find our poll for the day. When the Packers president Mark Murphy retires in 2025, who is most likely to still be in Green Bay? Love, LaFleur, or Goody? And I can't believe it. Of those three, there isn't none of the above, which I probably should have not done. Goody is winning this one. I'm fascinated. I am mind boggled right now. Hang on. Can we talk this out? Am I crazy? Goody is the guy that drafted Jordan Love. Goody is the guy that talked about how he knew having a Hall of Fame quarterback was going to take, it was going to be difficult, and he understands what comes with it. But is the guy that did not create a strong relationship with Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron has a part in this too, don't get me wrong, but he did not make it work. And if I'm the general manager and I have a Hall of Famer, I'm going to try and do my best to make it work. Ego aside, he helps make your team competitive year in and year out. You move on from Rodgers, fine. What's the plan, Stan? You didn't sign Devontae Adams when he wanted to be here. You offered him later when the Raiders offered him, and you didn't prioritize him. He's gone. So now you got the youngest wide receivers and tight ends in the NFL. You have Aaron Jones, who you can't get on the field. You have A.J. Dillon, who's not going to be here. You're not going to sign him to some deal. And you have a quarterback that you don't even know if it's a guy, and we're all waiting to see if he actually does something that makes us go, holy crap! Woo! That feels good. Because guess what? Nobody's felt that since the Saints game. And Goody's just skating on by?
I think people have forgot what happened because Aaron Rodgers kind of messed up everybody's memory with the fact that what he did kind of eclipsed everything that Goody had failed to do.
I think that's fair.
Watkins and Funches, that was terrible.
Who's that?
Watkins and Funches.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I couldn't stand Goody at that moment.
I mean, Sammy Watkins was his solution. Sammy freaking Watkins. Do you have something quick there, Brad?
No, just it's easy to forget about the GM because he's kind of behind the scenes and whatnot, but he puts his fingerprints on everything, and everything should flow back up to him, so he should take a lot of the blame for this.
He takes the most from me. As much, again, Matt, I still want to see more of Jordan Love. That doesn't change. Matt LaFleur, you guys know how I feel, but Goody is my guy that I want more blood for. Rutledge and Hamilton up next in Madison. Please enjoy that. We'll be back in 2 minutes on 94.5 ESPN, streaming on YouTube and streaming everywhere you need.
Southbound on 43, we've got an accident in the Marquette interchange on the left shoulder. Right now, Brown Deer Road to downtown is going to be 21 minutes. We also have an issue on 894 westbound. It's an accident. It's been there pretty much all afternoon. The left and right lanes are still blocked. You can get through in the center lanes, but backups are stretching almost back to 27th Street on 894, so it's going to be a pretty hefty ride. Southbound 43, of course, going to be slowing down from before Bender Road all the way down to about Locust. Traffic is brought to you by Land Rover Waukesha. Check out the new full-size 2023 Defender 130 with seating for up to 8 passengers. Go to LandRoverWaukesha.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, chance for showers, partly cloudy, a low of 55. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, warm and breezy with a slight chance for a morning shower, a high of 75. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 46 to 48 ounce selected varieties Blue Bunny ice cream, 2 for $8. 10.5 to 16 ounce selected varieties Kohl's garlic toaster bread, 2 for $6. 7 to 15 ounce selected varieties Rana pasta or sauce, 2 for $7. 2 liter bottles selected varieties Super Chill soda, 4 for $5.
Let's see, spices, cardamom, hibiscus powder. It's like looking at Green Bay's roster right now. I don't recognize it, but I'll learn to love it.
Attention Century shoppers. You're going to love this opportunity. Win 2 tickets to see Green Bay play Kansas City on December 3rd, autographed Packers footballs, or 4 packs of Hall of Fame tickets.
I'd love to see Green Bay's new QB in action and win those tickets. What do I do?
Find the weekly code on Century's Facebook or Instagram and enter to win.
Love it. Getting the Century code on Insta right now.
Ends November 14th.
Hey, this is Jen Latta. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN. Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
I'll take it from Kyle today because he's still grieving the loss. It is the Faux One Faux Hour at Faux here on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. We are presented by the official beer of the NFL, Bud Light. I'm Ben Brust. He's Kyle Wallace, still all in all of his feels. Brad Nortman, 6-year NFL punter, and homeboy Chris running the show. 800-990-3776 is the number to hit us with. Let's go to John in Milwaukee. I'm curious to see what he has to say. John, welcome into KBN.
Afternoon, boys. How are we?
Doing well. Happy Monday.
All right. You know, I was saying I feel like to a certain extent the Packers are probably a victim of their own success. You know, when you're winning, it's easy to not look too hard at your flaws because you won games. And I feel like going back to even the McCarthy period, there was a lot of well, we're going to win games because Aaron Rodgers can do stuff that no other quarterback on the planet can do. And, you know, I feel like over the past 4 or 5 years watching them in action, LaFleur is not the guy, you know, and that's, you know, whether regardless of what he's got on the field, you know, he's an average coach at best. I mean, when's the last time you've watched him play a game and gone, man, the Packers just seem unbelievably prepared for this game? You know, unless they're just talent-wise better than the other team, they don't have it. You know, and to me, that's coaching. You know, there was an old saying, if you guys remember who Don Shula was, you know, there was an old saying about how great a coach Don Shula was, that he could take his and beat yours, that he could take yours and beat his. You know, and that speaks to this guy is such a good tactician that give him whatever hand you want to deal him, he's still going to get it done. And the Packers aren't that team.
Well, John, I appreciate the perspective. Now, if Shula had John in Milwaukee, Kyle, Brad, and myself, I don't know if he'd be able to take us and turn us into anything good. Other than good special teams.
Hey, we will punt the ball. And we'd be punting a lot.
Yeah, we would be.
Who would be the long snapper?
Oh,
I
wonder what John could do after looking at you guys. John in Milwaukee, who just called in. Maybe he'd be.
What about homeboy Chris?
Maybe homeboy Chris, because he's always throwing it to us, right?
That's
he's kind of doing the unsung hero.
I can get it back to you.
Yeah,
there it is.
Hey, that was confident.
Yeah,
I would trust him.
Just as long as
snap and block.
I want to be a gunner.
I would trust you a gunner.
Just get me out there.
And Kyle be my personal protector. Get out the call and say
52. Hut.
Perfect. You got the
and
job.
we punted.
But no, we didn't punt. It got blocked. Brad is running for his life.
Earlier this morning on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, Evan Cohen and Chris Canty of Unsportsmanlike were discussing Jordan Love, and it just it got me thinking about a lot of different things. Let's hear from the boys, and Michelle Smallman also a part of this.
Inexplicably, in my mind, Mark Murphy, the president of the Packers before the season, if you remember, said, we'll know about Jordan Love halfway through the season if he's the starter long term, which I thought was a ridiculous, unfair deadline to put on Jordan Love when the guy had never started a game outside of that one game in that COVID year against Kansas City with his mom that was basically almost out of the stadium. They put her so high up there. And now they have played, 7 weeks, 6 games in Green Bay. We're not that far away from whatever we would deem the halfway point, 9 weeks through the season. They're 2-4. Jordan Love has 10 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. I have no idea if he's the guy long term, and I also don't feel like it's right that I'm supposed to judge if he's the guy long term within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, but it shouldn't take this long for a guy that's been in the NFL, 3 full seasons already? It's not like he's a rookie quarterback. Even though this is his first full year starting, he's had an opportunity to sit and learn and grow as a player. And so him operating the offense shouldn't look as bad as it does right now. And here's the thing. The first half, the offense for the Green Bay Packers was unwatchable. That's how bad it was. And they're going up against one of the worst defenses in all of football in the Denver Broncos. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand how we can give Jordan Love a pass with this one. He should look better. He should look further along than where he is right now. And so I think everything has to be on the board for the Green Bay Packers this offseason, including potentially moving off of Love.
That, Evan Cohen and Chris Canty from Unsportsmanlike, you can hear on 94.5 ESPN leading up to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Look, I have no problem with the timeline and the sample size that the Packers need to make a decision on, right? So 6 games now, 8 games from Mark Murphy. Do you wait till Thanksgiving? Do you give him the full year? No matter how you slice it, you're not going to have a lot of games, but I'm actually okay with it. I have no problem with the timeline because I believe Canty's right. I mean, you've seen him for 3 years. That should be plenty of time to develop and be able to harness your skill and be able to be a starting QB. However, what I do have a problem with is this cast of characters around him. I don't know how you can evaluate a quarterback when he is literally trying to babysit the guys around him, and they're running wrong routes. They're in the wrong areas. This offensive line was supposed to be a strength. Without Bakhtiari, it's clearly not a strength. Can't run the football. You don't have a healthy Aaron Jones. So to me, it's not the length of time. Oh my gosh, can we evaluate him after 6 games, 8 games, 11, 16? It doesn't matter how many games he plays with this cast of characters. It'd be very, very hard to evaluate him.
Yeah, we have this opportunity. Jordan Love is playing for his career. I'll say career because after, if you fail one time as an NFL starter, you don't get a lot of second chances, especially when you're going into year 5. He is playing for not only his job here in Green Bay, but he's playing for a job as a starting quarterback in the NFL. If he stinks it up and he's average for the rest of the season and this team sucks, the Packers have to seriously consider moving on from Jordan Love. And with that comes what? You get a little freedom from that cap because a lot of times these teams that are winning, they have a chance to have a quarterback that's young. Like, I think Jalen Hurts just got paid this offseason, I believe it was. But before that, you had a team around him that, you didn't have to pay your quarterback too much. Tua, he's not getting paid super too much yet, I believe. He's going to get paid very, very soon. But the whole point is this, is that if Jordan Love is average, you have a chance to get somebody who's a lot better than that in the draft, and you can kind of just start over with a team that has a third-year receiver in Romeo Doubs, a team that has a third-year receiver in Christian Watson, a team that may still have Aaron Jones in the backfield. You maybe use some of those assets that you have to draft offensive linemen early. And Tay Wicks, you have Tay Wicks on your team.
Outside the Tay Wicks thing, I don't know how you turn from so negative to so positive about a Romeo Doubs and a Christian Watson that you call Charmin.
Well, I like Romeo Doubs. He's not the issue. Christian Watson's the guy that's the issue. He doesn't.
But my point is, and then referencing Aaron Jones, who can't stay on the field, and he's only going to get older. And then to also say that you can move on from Jordan Love and draft somebody better, there is no guarantee that is something that you're going to do. Bryce Young was just taken number 1, and everyone would take C.J. Stroud over him.
I wouldn't have taken. I don't believe in a 5'10", 195-pound quarterback in the NFL. That's me. That's you.
You're not drafting. Guess who's drafting? The guy that you don't believe in.
Me. I'm saying Bryce Young is my size. There's no reason you be drafting somebody my size.
It doesn't matter. I'm not talking about whether he's your size or not. My point is you are not drafting whether he's your size or not. Goody is. And so you need Goody to draft a quarterback when Goody's the guy that picked Jordan Love, and so you're asking him to do something that he's already failing at.
No, here's the thing. This is twofold. If Jordan Love sucks the rest of this year, he has to go. But you know who else has to go? The guy that drafted him. The only person I'd keep is Matt LaFleur because I actually have a little bit of trust still in Matt LaFleur. Jordan Love, he sucks the rest of the year, he got to go. Like that's just it. And I know I was ready to marry the man before that, but divorce is real. 50% of marriage is the end of divorce.
Things go wrong in 3 weeks. Future Kyle's wife, be aware. Goodness gracious.
Hey, you better be right. You better keep me smiling. Better keep me happy. That's what it's about. Happy Kyle, happy life. How about that?
800-990-3776. That's where you can chime in on the ESPN Wisconsin Talk and Text line. Was it unfair for Mark Murphy to put 8 games on Jordan Love's evaluation?
Don't you feel a little bit like all the lights on the dashboard are going off right now? And Jordan Love might be one of those lights, but you don't know if you're crossing wires, if one light is affecting the other. I just feel like there's so much going on. How do you possibly pinpoint one and be like, yeah, that one's the one that's got to be fixed?
Has Jordan Love drastically improved? Like, we've now have a little sample size, right? The Chiefs game, has he drastically improved from that Chiefs game? We scored 7 points in that game, and our team has one game.
That one's not fair.
I don't care. Fair or not. I mean, I'm just saying.
He threw 17 times to Devontae Adams, and it was ugly.
All I'm saying is this, is that he's better. Don't get me twisted. He's definitely better, and I still believe he has potential. But it is becoming worrisome that this offense has not been able to consistently put up points and consistently, or at all, have a fast start other than one game. And Atlanta, I guess they did decent in the second quarter. But that is a little bit concerned that are we sitting here trying to hope for something, or are we seeing who he may be, which is not a bad NFL quarterback, but an average NFL quarterback that can start on a mediocre team?
Well, that's the thing. I think he can be average. I don't think we've seen
average
enough.
Isn't good enough.
Totally, which is maybe why you have to hit the reset button.
Yeah,
because I don't.
But you realize if you hit the reset button, what you're feeling right now for the next 11 games potentially is something you could feel for the next. Like this is what Packer fans don't know. This continuous pattern. If you are that quick, Kyle, to move on from Jordan Love, God bless the next quarterback that comes in. Because I understand it's Super Bowl or bust at Titletown, but goodness gracious, I mean. It's hard to hit a really good quarterback, and you need a really good quarterback to win. And I know everyone wants to point like, well, we could build a team around us if we have a guy with a lower cap number at quarterback. You still got to hit the quarterback portion, and then you also got to hit the players on the roster. And even when you do that, look at the 49ers, right? I think they're great. I love watching Kyle Shanahan. Even when they had a quarterback that led them to the Super Bowl with all the great pieces around him, they tried to get Trey Lance. And then Trey Lance didn't work, and they kept trying new things because the quarterback, the Rams, they had Jared Goff, who I believe is a good quarterback. I do, and he's showing
NFC North.
He's showing you outside of with the Rams, but he had, according to Sean McVay, wasn't going to take them to the promised land. So even they moved on to get Matt Stafford. So this journey, if you're already saying after 1 year, get rid of Jordan Love, buckle up for yourself, buddy.
But don't you think you need to do that? Don't you think you need to just keep swinging until you find the guy?
I agree, but that's not like I'm just saying it's crazy that like that's after week 3. You think we were going to be saying 3 weeks later that we need to just take as many swings as possible? Yeah. They should take a swing every year. I still think it was a failure that they didn't bring anybody in to push Jordan Love.
But think about it though. The way this roster is set up, we see it. Jason Wilde just said it. He sees glimpses, right? And again, Jordan, this is no knock on Jordan.
I knew Jason was going to get you to believe.
No, we see glimpses, right? And we have
what glimpses, Kyle?
Listen, ask
what
Jason.
Freaking glimpses?
Ask Jay. He says a couple passes there or throws there around there.
Know. He can't throw the ball past 20 freaking yards.
Okay, if he can't throw the ball past 20 freaking yards, then you have guys.
He's 6 of 27.
And that's an issue. That's a problem. And if your team ends up losing a lot of games and he goes from 6 to 27, and I'm not a mathematician, but let's just say he goes 18 to 90 doing this, or 18 to 85 on deep passes. That ain't good enough. And so what I'm saying is that if you have a top 5 pick or a top 3 pick where you can use it on a premium player coming out at quarterback this year, you go for the premium. If you know you can draft not a Lamborghini, we'll just say if you can draft a Mercedes-Benz.
That's disrespectful.
If you can draft a Mercedes-Benz, what do you mean?
Mercedes-Benz is the number 1 draft pick. That's why I go to Zimbrick European off the Beltline.
That's what I'm saying. If you get it from Zimbrick, if you got a Mercedes-Benz, and no knock to Ford, I drive a Ford Focus. If you got a current Ford, a reliable current Ford that's going to get you from point A to point B, but ain't going to get you over the promised land, it's not going to have the ladies turn and look and say, dang, who is that? I want the dang, who is that? And Jordan Love right now, he started off that I thought he was a dang, who was that? And right now he might be a hoopty. We got to figure that out, though.
All the more reason why you had that car. You had that Mercedes.
You sure did.
And it might have some mileage on it, but dang it still turned heads. You still got rid of it.
G-Wagon, man.
G-Wagon.
Yeah. G-Wagon.
It was a G-Wagon.
Justin and MKE, have we noticed the further away we get from Ted's staple guys on the roster, the worse it gets? Goody has done a terrible job replacing the talent he inherited. The best guy in offense is still a Ted guy, and he's a 29-year-old running back. Again, this is why I chose Goody. When it comes to blame of LaFleur and Goody, I picked Goody. Goody set himself up for failure, if we're being honest. Goody drafted Love. If I'm Goody, I'm thinking, all right, how do we get everything for my guy? Because you talk about those fingerprints and the legacy that all these general managers want. Goody's the dummy for not really equipping this team with enough weapons for Jordan Love to be successful, especially when he invested in him.
Goody allowed beef and disdain for Aaron Rodgers from him building a roster. You can still be mad at Aaron Rodgers for doing what he's doing and draft a receiver earlier, because it would be nice to have a receiver in their 4th year this year who's an established NFL player.
He screwed up the backlog of wide receivers.
You could have still said, you know what, I don't really like you. I don't mess with you, but in order for this team to be successful past you when you're gone, because that divorce is going to happen, I need to have some guys on this roster for the guy that's after you, and he failed to do that. He started rebuilding 2 years. Well, he tried to rebuild a couple more than that, but he really just started rebuilding 2 years ago on the offense, where now we're looking at rookie after rookie after rookie after second-year player after second-year player who don't know what they're doing.
Well, and let's be honest, a lot of Aaron's shenanigans started right after they drafted Love. So you could even say that like Goody pushed Aaron into that persona.
Well, I mean,
it was
his persona was shifting, but I think from a pure football relationship standpoint, it was done. It literally was done. You could ask Aaron. He'd be the first to admit that, and it has nothing to do with anything of his disdain for Jordan Love, because I think he actually has a decent relationship with Jordan Love. What pissed him off was him. Basically, they were like, you're not good enough anymore.
It was disrespectful. He got disrespect. Anybody at their job that's still, we have down days, you have down months, you know what I'm saying? And when you have a down month, you expect for the people around you to still encourage you and build you up, especially when you have been around somewhere and have elevated a place to being great, right? You continued on this legacy. You won Super Bowls. You won MVPs. You expect support. And then you get a new guy that comes in here, and you're still trying to build a relationship out, and you're realizing, you're not putting too much around me, and then you go and do that. That's backstabbing, and that's disrespectful, and that's exactly who Goody is. See, my disdain for Goody has come back. This is how I was talking about Goody prior to last season.
Good to have you back, Kyle.
Yeah, no, it's fire Goody. That's what I'm on. I'm on the fire Goody train. He's got to go.
Well, let's cheers to and pour one out. Let's give a little cheers. You can pour one out to Goody if you want again, if you want to keep your hate going. 800-990-3776. If you want to cheers to someone, pour one out for someone, you can do that with us as well. 800-990-3776. Cheers to and pour one out over the weekend. Yeah, a lot more pour one out this week.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
I'm not taking any credence to the guy kicking it 45, 50 yards down the field.
Nothing wrong with a 40-yard.
Sounds like the specialists were on the same page.
No, he was in the locker room.
Yeah, I'm sure Brad Nortman and Cam Newton were yapping it up together.
Hey, we have the same page, bro. On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Southbound on 43, we've got an accident in the Marquette interchange on the left shoulder. Right now, Brown Deer Road to downtown is going to be 21 minutes. We also have an issue on 894 westbound. It's an accident. It's been there pretty much all afternoon. The left and right lanes are still blocked. You can get through in the center lanes, but backups are stretching almost back to 27th Street on 894, so it's going to be a pretty hefty ride. Southbound 43, of course, going to be slowing down from before Bender Road all the way down to about Locust. Traffic is brought to you by Land Rover Waukesha. Check out the new full-size 2023 Defender 130 with seating for up to 8 passengers. Go to LandRoverWaukesha.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast tonight, chance for showers, partly cloudy, a low of 55. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, warm and breezy with a slight chance for a morning shower, a high of 75. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Yeah, they're football guys, but they don't shy away from the big topics of the day.
I think black licorice is like being left-handed.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by American Family Insurance.
I think it's the same percentage of people like black licorice that are left-handed.
You're partially left-handed.
I'm not left-handed.
No, if you don't left-handed.
Right, if you don't.
Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Sunday. That's right, folks. Great Lakes Dragway's 2023 race season is in full swing. Come out to see our annual events like Memorial Day Weekend, Labor Day Weekend, Nitro Streetcar Brawl, Import Wars, Larry's Fun Fest, and Bug Fest. Looking for something new and exciting? Come see the Night of Fire Jet Show. Want the track all to yourself? Email or call about a private track rental. Go to GreatLakesDragaway.com for contact information and our full season schedule. Great Lakes Dragaway, just a burnout west of I-94 on County KR. Be there.
The workplace has changed a lot thanks to technology, and more recently, the shift to a flexible or remote schedule. Your business must adapt to maintain a great culture, attracting quality candidates and keeping them. You need Smart Spaces. The team of interior integrators at Smart Spaces brings creativity and expertise, assessing the walls, ceiling, lighting, flooring, furniture, and audiovisual systems to create places that matter in the modern world, fully functional for those in the building and for others to interact remotely. Get started today at smartspaceswi.com.
What are we having for dinner? At Cousin Subs, we have a simple answer for this age-old question. A family 4-pack, of course. Now at participating Cousin Subs locations, you can get any 4 classic or deli fresh subs or subs in a bowl and 4 chips or regular fries for the limited time only price of $30 plus tax after 4 p.m. You heard that right. Feed your entire crew for just $30. Order in store at cousinsubs.com or via our app. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
It's on to level 2 for the Crusaders.
Looking for another block. He's going to get it at the 30, at the 25. He got through that wave of defenders at the 15. And Demayas Lopez is now 3 for 3.
This week, 2-seed Catholic Memorial takes on 6-seed Lake Mills. Gabe Neitzel and Mike Podol are on the call starting at 6:30. Sponsored by R&R Insurance, BC Adhesives, KMI Construction, Lake 5 Landscape Supply, Home Sealed Exteriors, Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, Curative Care Network. Keep the good times rolling every Sunday with GKB founder and CEO Craig Karmazin on Sunday Karma.
No rump shaking. Did you say that off the air, Kyle? You got to say that on the air. It was not rump shaking. It was not anything inappropriate. It just was totally irrelevant.
Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin.
Because isn't that how GMs get chosen, right? You trade up, in my opinion, cost the team a chance to win a championship.
Sundays from 10 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Tonight we're going hard.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman with With you till 5, leading up to the Homer Hour. I'm Ben Brust alongside Kyle Wallace, all in his Packer feelings. Brad Nortman, 6-time, 6-year NFL punter. And homeboy Chris running the show, 800-990-3776. Let's go to Marshall on the east side. Marshall, who are you blaming right now?
Hello. In all due respect, I think all you guys have it wrong. Okay, and I like listening to Wildy, not too long ago. But will we even be talking about this if the Packers in that last drive got 4 or 5 more yards, kicked the winning field goal?
Yes, it was the 1-5 Broncos. They sucked, and that would be the worst. Yeah. That was going to be my biggest problem, is if they somehow found a way to win the Denver game, people would forget that this team isn't very good.
Yeah, but if you look at the statistics, the Packers wide receivers have the lowest separation rate in an NFL. And if you look at the games and you watch the games, they're not open. So who is Jordan Love going to throw to?
Again, I am not blaming you. I'm blaming Goody. I'm blaming Goody for having such a bad plan for the guy that he drafted. He drafted Jordan Love. You'd think he'd prepare once Rodgers was gone a little bit more than the youngest wide receiver in tight end core since the 0-16 Browns.
Okay, so are you think Jordan Love's not a good draft pick? Or
both can be true. We're still figuring out if Jordan Love is. I have not put the stamp on Jordan Love. I would lean bad, but I'm going to say that Goody did a horrible job preparing this team and preparing his guy that he drafted, Jordan Love, with anything around him.
And I somewhat agree with you. I think Aaron Rodgers should still be here. I still think he's an Hall of Fame quarterback. He's still got the talent, and you're going to see when he with the Jets later on this year or next year. And people are making a big stink about Aaron Rodgers, this and that. Some things you got to put up with.
I agree. Hall of Fame quarterback is one of them. Marshall, we agree there.
All right.
Thank you for the call. Let's go to Noah in Waupun. Noah, welcome into Kyle Brust Nortman. I like the energy that Marshall.
Hi, how's it going?
There. It's going good. How are you?
Good. So, I just wanted to put it out there, and maybe you guys have talked about it before, but I feel like a lot of people don't realize that the Packers are sitting on $62 million of dead cap right now. So there's $62 million, and that's not including the $21 million that we're paying Bakhtiari. That's a lot of money that's sitting that we're not doing anything with, that we're not able to do anything with.
Yep.
And most of that, pretty much all of it goes away next year. So just putting out there that, Brian put us in this position, where it's his team ultimately, but I think this team looks a lot more different if we had that kind of money.
Let me ask you this. We talked about it briefly. When do they spend money? The last time they spent money in an offseason with money they had was the 2019 season when they brought in Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, Adrian Amos, and Billy Turner. Outside of that, they brought in Hammy freaking Watkins and Devin Funchess.
I like that name.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but when's the last time we had a team in the position that we're in now, the 80s? We haven't been this low in a very, very long time. And if we had that kind of money sitting there right now, I think we would be spending some of it.
I think that's fair, but that's not the situation that Goody put himself in. Again, it was his choice to not create a strong. Again, whether it's a one-sided relationship or not, the players make you look good as a GM. If he would get the credit, whether he wants his own fingerprints on it or not. If he's the general manager of a freaking team, what if he would have went all in? I hate people who say they went all in. They never went all in. If he would have went all in and tried to get a wide receiver with the first round pick in 2020 instead of Jordan Love, and it worked out like it did for the Rams, don't you think people would be like, he didn't just do what Ted did, like he did something different,
aggressive,
and that would have been his fingerprints.
Here's a great example of going all in. So for us, what happened locally in 2021?
They traded for Drew Holiday.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. They went all in. The Milwaukee Bucks went all in. And what did they do? They won a championship. Nobody cares about anything that happened before that. Now, after that, to keep their star happy, what did they do?
They traded away Drew Holiday.
And got better. All we care about is winning, okay? So this is and Horst didn't draft Giannis. That was somebody else who drafted Giannis. But you know what? He's doing? He's trying to build his legacy as one of the best GMs, not only in Milwaukee Bucks history, but also in the league. And that's what it's about.
800-990-3776. I'm genuinely curious on what Brian in Lake Mills has to say. Is Brad, you were someone who was in an NFL locker room. It does seem like they're dropping like flies. Brian in Lake Mills, welcome in.
Hey, good afternoon. My question for you all is this. It seems like it's ridiculous the amount of injuries that they are having every game, and even during the week at practice, it's like, okay, who else is now going to be a starter that's being down? And this also goes to play, I think, of why the team is bad, is that Goody's had to set the team up this year. I don't want to talk about past years. Set them up this year because of the cap issues to be young and rely on people making that next step where they would have shown glimpses this year or next year. And if everyone's getting injured, those starters are getting injured. The guys that shouldn't be getting minutes are having to get minutes. So why is this team having so many injuries? And did they maybe shift their strength and conditioning program this summer as to why they're having the issues? But I think there also needs to be some blame on that aspect of the team too.
Thank you, Brian in Lake Mills. Brad, I'll turn it over to you from an injury standpoint because, if we're being honest, Romeo Dobbs is still played. Luke Musgrave is still played. Jaden Reed is still played. Like, you've still seen enough of the young guys. Do you wish Christian Watson wasn't hurt every week, whether it be his hamstring or whatever it is now? Like, of course not. And now Luke Musgrave is hurt too, I forgot that.
Yeah, when it comes to injuries, look, it is more than 50% just luck, coincidence, circumstance, whatever it is. You're playing football, you've got grown men coming at you at full speed, and you're running full speed. So more than half of it is just luck and circumstance, right? There are some things you can do as an individual.
A lot of hamstrings, though. Like, is there ever a trend that, like there's been a lot of hamstrings.
Some guys are just built physiologically differently, right? Christian Watson, I do have a fear. His body type, that long, lean speed, that is built for hamstring injuries.
He's a runner. He's a fake football player. Y'all get the song, he's a runner. He's a track star.
No.
Jeez Louise.
Well, yeah, did you expect us?
Two worlds. Tee it up. She's a runner. She's a track star.
Homeboy Chris.
We need a drop when Kyle makes a cultural reference that the two whiteys over here don't understand.
it's two worlds, I guess.
Or maybe it's just white people.
Yeah. I ain't saying.
Let's go to Lewis on the north side. The north side always knows. Let's see if they know
white
today.
People.
Goody has to go, huh, Lewis?
Yeah, Goody got to go. Fellas, look at this scenario. 3 years ago, we had the best quarterback in football and the best wide receiver in football. And Gutekunst said, we don't need that. We have something else. And this is what we have. And Kyle, remember about 3-4 weeks ago when you were singing the praises of Jordan Love?
Oh, he sure does.
Remember, in 10 years, they're going to know this guy's name. Of course we're going to know his name. That in 10 years.
Put him on blast,
This is what BG did to us.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
this quarterback is real bad. This football team is real bad.
Yeah, I'm not ready to say the quarterback's real bad yet or anything like that. But yeah,
Whoa. You saying he's not bad yet?
No, I'm not saying he's real bad. I'm saying he's made some poor decisions, and he has not been able to elevate his play consistently the way we need to. He hasn't been able to, as Ben said before, he's been wildly inaccurate downfield and unreliable downfield, and he has not put together a full game for real, other than the Chicago Bears.
That's everything you said? I'm
not saying he's a bad
Hold on a second, brother. Hold on. Let me set you straight here. Let me set you straight, Kyle, because when he had a little bit of success, you had him in the Hall of Fame, correct?
No, wait a minute now.
Hold on, follow me here, buddy. Hold
the
on.
Packers Hall of Fame, maybe.
Success, he was in the Hall of Fame. But he's had several games now where he's been terrible, and yet you don't want to say he's bad? Kyle, it's time to give it up. This guy's not good. If you want Brian Gutekunst fired, it's because of his decision in drafting and keeping Jordan Love. But yet you saying the dude ain't that bad. Come on,
Thank you for the call, Lewis. Appreciate it. Got to keep it rolling here. 800-990-3776.
Lewis tried to come from my head. Dang, Lewis.
Got a memory like an elephant.
Yeah, average isn't
Man,
bad.
quoting
Average
you
isn't
even.
good. I know, he quoted me. Did I say 10 years ago? Y'all gonna remember his name, huh?
I don't know if you did, but I'm
it sounded
rolling
like
with
something
it.
I said.
Yeah, in the moment, I can definitely see your cheesy ass smile and say, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
I can't deny or confirm whether I said it or I didn't say it.
Brian in South Milwaukee, last one before we keep on moving. Welcome into KBN.
Boy, I don't know if we can lay all of this on Jordan Love. I mean, his teammates are doing really nothing to really help him out. It's almost like it's death by 1,000 cuts. Classic example, that last drive. They were in 2nd and 10. Jenkins gets the penalty, puts him in a 2nd and 20. And he's trying to make plays down the field. I get it. I mean, you're in that situation. I mean, plus, is he the one that didn't have Aaron Jones, their best playmaker, on the field? No, that wasn't his decision. That was a coaching decision. So there's a lot more components than just Jordan Love to put blame on here.
Yeah, Brian, I definitely agree. I think Jordan Love could have definitely played better the last 3 weeks, and I think the coaches have done a bad job of putting him in a spot to be successful, clearly by only scoring 6 points in the first half through the last 4 weeks. But again, I'll continue to go back to my thesis. Goody is the problem. Goody drafted Jordan Love, got rid of a Hall of Fame quarterback, got rid of a potential Hall of Fame wide receiver, and when you are a GM and you make a move like that, your reputation will ever be known as that. You're going to be the guy who drafted Jordan Love. And if I'm the guy who drafted Jordan Love, what a dumbass strategy to bring out a bunch of first and second year wide receivers out there for your guy. And A.J. Dillon backing up a guy who has been a little bit injured prone, who's getting older.
And that's the thing that Ted Thompson did for Aaron Rodgers, at least surrounded him with some talent that you could at least evaluate him correctly. And before long, he was making those passes to veteran skill players. And so you could say, okay, I know what he has. I can clearly see it now. And then fast forward 3 years later, they're Super Bowl champions.
And I'm trying to think now, and I might need more than 24 hours to really process all this, but maybe my disappointment truly stems from the fact that I want to see growth, and having to watch 2 games in basically the same way with unnecessary
against
passes
2 bad teams.
Yeah, but
too.
Unnecessary like downfield. It was too late, bro. Like you don't have to throw the pass to Christian Watson. The second one, you didn't have to throw that deep pass on 3rd and 20. I understand it's 3rd and 20, but the goal is to try to get more yards to get closer for a field goal for a kicker that can kick. He probably can hit a 60-yard field goal. He has the leg to be able to hit a 60-yard field goal, especially with no wind. And so just seeing back-to-back the same thing over
Talking
and over.
about Hookapotamus yesterday?
I didn't feel good about it.
I just want to take a shot.
But all I'm saying is that's where the disappointment stems from, is the fact that I want to see progress and learning. You heave the ball up twice in a row to end games with interceptions. That is no fun.
And if we're being honest, if it wasn't for Romeo Dobbs' strong arms, that ball was floated up way too long for that first touchdown. But what I got to tell you about is my time in Germantown today. I went to Ford Healthy Lifestyles today, and I sat down with Lindsay and her team, and we figured it out. So I was testing out a couple things the last month. I got my 6-month plan now. I got the last 5 months of injections, of the heart health, everything I need to be successful, I have ready to go. And so no excuses now. Testosterone, boom. It's not just about biceps and sex. It's about energy, concentration, mood, weight management, and heart health. So optimize testosterone the right way by working with Lindsay's team at Forward Healthy Lifestyles in Germantown. Book a free confidential consultation today at forwardhealthylifestyles.com. Again, forwardhealthylifestyles.com. Create a plan. Again, your journey starts with one step, and that's one step into Forward Healthy Lifestyles. Maybe some cheers to him pouring out. We can always do it tomorrow. I mean, we'll see. Keep it coming if y'all want to keep it rolling. 800-990-3776. We'll be back with you soon. Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by the official beer of the NFL.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
My offer, as we've come up with it at KBN, thanks to JD and Fondy, reutilizing Judy, who is still in my garage right now.
Is she a big booty Judy or a little flapjack booty Judy?
She's got a little something to her. I'll say that.
Oh, she got some
Judy the blow-up doll. She got a little something to her.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
We have a little little bit of good news. That accident westbound 894 heading into the Hale interchange has finally been cleared out of the way. So things are getting much better on the bypass. Southbound 43, though, still heavy from just south of Silver Spring all the way down to almost North Avenue, with the northbound side slowing down from Fond du Lac Avenue up past Keefe. You are on the brakes from the Marquette all the way through the Stadium interchange on westbound 94, and heavy on 41 southbound from Silver Spring all the way down past Mayfair Road. Traffic is brought to you by the Golden Mast Inn. Looking for a perfect wedding venue? Open air terrace nestled over Okachi Lake. Weisgerber's Golden Mast, your wedding place on the lake. Visit goldenmastin.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast tonight, chance for storms to the north, partly cloudy and breezy, a low of 55. Then tomorrow, chance for thunderstorms north, early, mostly cloudy and breezy, very warm, a high of 77. Weather's brought to you by Adams Generators, the #1 rated Generac dealer in Wisconsin. Call for your free quote today at 262-944-2010 or for power peace of mind. Or visit adamspower.com/generators. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 46 to 48 ounce selected varieties Blue Bunny ice cream, 2 for $8. 10.5 to 16 ounce selected varieties Kohl's garlic toaster bread, 2 for $6. 7 to 15 ounce selected varieties Rana pasta or sauce, 2 for $7. 2 liter bottles selected varieties Super Chill soda, 4 for $5.
Let's see, spices, cardamom, hibiscus powder. It's like looking at Green Bay's roster right now. I don't recognize it, but I'll learn to love it.
Attention Century shoppers. You're going to love this opportunity. Win 2 tickets to see Green Bay play Kansas City on December 3rd, autographed Packers footballs, or 4 packs of Hall of Fame tickets.
I'd love to see Green Bay's new QB in action and win those tickets. What do I do?
Find the weekly code on Century's Facebook or Instagram and enter to win.
Love it. Getting the Century code on Insta right now.
Ends November 14th.
Tired of power outages disrupting your life? Make them a thing of the past by getting a Generac home standby generator from Adams Generators. Adams Generators is the largest and #1 rated Generac dealer in Wisconsin. With 24/7 emergency support, our factory-trained technicians are standing by to assist you. Visit adamspower.com/generators to make sure your power always stays on. That's adamspower.com/generators.
Here in Wisconsin, a good old-fashioned is an important way of life. And that's where my friends at Perky's Old Fashioned come in. Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel here to tell you about the easiest way to put together an old-fashioned. Perky's offers both brandy and bourbon old-fashioned mixes. And get this, the booze is already in there. Just add the soda of your choosing, and you'll have Grandma Perky's old-fashioned in the palm of your hand. Perky's is locally made and great for get-togethers of all kinds. Get perked up and head to perkysspirits.com for your nearest Perky's location.
A big anniversary diamond is one twice as big as the one in her engagement ring.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
When you're high, you feel different. But if you feel different, you drive different. So don't drive high. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
She's a runner, she's a track star. She gon' run away when it gets hard. She can't take the pain, she can't get scarred. She hurt anyone that gets involved. Don't wanna commit, why take it this far? She gon' do the race, just not this one.
Joint pain relief is right here in Milwaukee. I was working out this weekend and I woke up pretty sore, and I thought, you know what, my friends at QC Kinetics, they're the people I need to turn to for their advanced regenerative medicine. If you've been told that steroids and surgery are your only options when you're dealing with your joint pain, you need to get a second opinion and learn how to heal your body's joint pain with your body's own healing agents that attack that joint pain and give you that long-lasting relief that you're looking for. Not just something to cover up the pain, but something to actually get to the root of the problem and use those concentrated healing properties to put that directly in your joint. That will restore and repair that damaged tissue. Imagine this fall, right now, being able to just relieve that pain that you're feeling in your joints and your hips, your shoulders, your back, and that with no drugs, no downtime, no surgery. I know when I'm feeling like that, man, I can't even move. I can't even get off the couch, get out of bed. But your life doesn't have to look like that. In fact, your life is all about motion, and you should be able to do what it takes in order to regain that motion. And QC Kinetics is giving people their life back with these all-natural treatments. So call the local professionals today at QC Kinetics and get your free consultation. They are the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. So give QC Kinetics a call today at 414-285-3430, 3474. That's 414-285-3474, 414-285-3474.
Who deserves more blame, Goody for this roster or Matt LaFleur for not elevating them? And I continue to be fascinated. LaFleur at 67%, Goody at 33%. We also have it up. When Packers president Mark Murphy retires in 2025, who is most likely to still be in Green Bay? Again, Goody's leading the way. Jordan Love next, then Matt LaFleur. I need you guys to you're not challenging me because I think you're with me.
No, I'm 100%. It's
no,
obvious.
and it's okay. But we're losing to the general
because
thought process.
people are prisoners of the moment right now. Everybody's
wants to
upset
blame Matt
because they're seeing the product on the field. The product of the field isn't great. If you asked this same question 2 years ago when this team fails to win championships, and you ask Matt LaFleur or Goody, and you have Aaron Rodgers talking about not having certain receivers, the blame's going to be on Goody at that moment in time. But right now, Goody's lucky that Matt LaFleur is the person cooking up and putting these pieces together that look
and in front of the microphone before and after every game.
Yeah, this team looks like goulash. It ain't good.
They're lucky that he doesn't they don't pan in front of Gutekunst all the time. I don't know where he watches the games.
He's usually in a suite with Mark Murphy.
Yeah, but he is not top of mind when it comes to Packer fans. And when you see the product in the field, that's the problem.
No, we don't cheer. This is what we're going to do. And I don't know, Brad, if you're in this.
Let's get a wanted poster.
No, what we're going to do, we're going to use KBN to make sure people understand that he is at fault for the atrocity that we're seeing on the field this year. For the fact that we have all this youth around Jordan Love, the guy that he drafted, and he did not put in a position to succeed. Matt LaFleur needs to be better, but this is Goody's fault for the product that we are seeing on the field. All the failed first-round draft picks, the run game getting gashed. Listen, you can scheme it up as much as you want to, but it seems like defensive coordinator to defensive coordinator ain't able to stop the run. This falls on Goody, and so we need to use our platform to educate people on the fact that Brian Gutekunst is the reason why this team sucks.
Well, if we think about any job, right, and you think about if our team right here, if Kyle Brust and Nortman were managing a division, and it's on us to execute and get results. Imagine if there was a separate agent that would say, oh, yeah, we'll take your best sales guy, we'll take your best operator, and all that kind of stuff. We're going to send them elsewhere, and here we're going to give you these young college grads. And you'd be like, wait a minute, I don't have any choice in the matter. I didn't interview them. I don't know them. I don't even know if they fit what we want to do and what we want to do with our company. So there's a lot of challenges as to why this, even you going back to the structure, the siloed structure of the Green Bay Packers is so strange, and it makes it hard for someone like Matt LaFleur to do what he wants to do.
800-990-3776. Justin from Milwaukee chimes in. Do people realize Goody has never drafted an offensive skill player that has sniffed a Pro Bowl or any type of award? Well, that's partially because he's invested a lot of his first-round draft capital on defensive players, which is number one. Number two, I think it's a pretty good point, actually, because there was only one wide receiver drafted between 2019 and 2021. Can you name that wide receiver?
By the Packers?
Yep.
You're saying
2019 and 2021. It was MVS. Trash.
Amari Rodgers.
No. MVS wasn't him?
He was on the team, so it was known that
this is not his 2019.
Devontae, MVS, Lazard, and EQ were all going to be entering free agency.
EQ is trash, too.
But regardless,
and he didn't do it.
What did he do? What did he do? What did he do? No, he traded away Devontae Adams. Gosh!
I was very frustrated watching these drafts because the past, I think it was 2021 or 2020 and 2021 draft classes were rich with talent at receiver. Rich.
Think about how many good young wide receivers there are since 2019. I mean, there are so many. Some of the best guys in the league are all those draft picks, and I don't know when they went, if we even had the opportunity to get them, but man, that's a lot of treasure that we just let slip away.
You know the sad thing about this,
that was when wide receivers were these are the guys that we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, there's guys.
The sad but positive thing is that if the Packers do end up with a top 4 draft pick, they're going to probably draft if they're top 3, they're drafting Marvin Harrison. They are. They're drafting.
You think Goody's going to do that?
No, he has.
Could you imagine? He'll go with like a tackle.
I mean, they need an offensive tackle, but
they do need that though.
But you need, in order to be successful in the NFL, you need to have guys at the skills position actually hitting, and the Packers do not currently have that. So why don't you go ahead and get that premium pick and use it on a weapon that can instantly make an impact?
But why go with and we can get into this. Why go with if you don't know if Jordan Love's a guy, why would you get Marvin Harrison?
Because that's his guy. If Goody's still on, if he's still the GM, that's his guy, and he's going to put pieces around his guy. The thing that he did not do for the guy that.
But you still get a quarterback.
I don't know. I mean, Goody's putting his whole reputation on Love. I think he's going to give him every chance. I'm not sure he will draft a quarterback.
No,
I don't know if he will, though.
He won't draft a quarterback, because drafting a quarterback says, I messed up and I failed. He cannot do he's not going to have an opportunity to restart with another quarterback. That'll be stupid on
800-990-3776.
Mark Murphy.
Quickly to Jonathan Brust, my brother.
All right, Benjamin, let's make this bet, because I have a good feeling the Bears are going to end up with more wins than your stupid Packers. Let's finalize this, okay?
So if the Bears have more wins than the Packers, I have to wear a Marquette jersey to a Badger game?
To a Marquette game.
Just a Marquette jersey to a Marquette game.
John, you missed that one. You want him to wear a Marquette jersey to a Badger game.
No, I'm not going to do that, because I respect my Badgers too much.
Yes, he's got love. He's got love. He was famous all over the TV when we were making the run. And then if the Packers have more wins than the Bears, you have to wear a Bears jersey or a Packers jersey to Soldier Field.
Yeah, I'll wear a Bears jersey.
No, Packers jersey to Soldier Field. Do you think that's a good bet, boys?
Done.
I need some consultation.
I think that's a good bet. If anything, I think it'd be harder to wear a Packer jersey to a Bears game. I think it's a little bit more punitive on Jonathan, but I don't know.
I agree with that.
I'm not asking about that part, idiots.
I think it's honestly
for you. I mean, that's not
guys,
that's horrible.
I told you we're going to go to the suite.
I'm nervous. Oh, we're going
to the suite, so no one's going to see me.
I didn't know y'all. Oh man, wait a minute. Forget the bet. When are we going to this suite? That's what I want to know. Where's my invite? I'm free.
It seems fair. And they're honestly, they both have
fair
2 wins.
And done. You're out of here. We got to get to Balaga and Kyle. You guys are looking at the wrong things.
Yeah, I'm looking at the right thing. The suite.
I want to embarrass him.
What day am I going to the Bears versus whoever game to watch the Bears lose in this suite?
Brian Balaga next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN.
And I'm sure he'll offer this opportunity again.
Absolutely
what are you going to sell? What are you going to say to Ben Brust?
I'm saying, you don't get your hand on my goddamn face. No, it's a no. I can say it in different languages. No.
Niche or whatever it is.
I don't know.
Nine. That's a firm way to say no.
Nine. Next time we say nine.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. From the tee box to the green and everything golf related in between.
Who's number one?
Max.
Yeah, Max Homa's number one. It's not even close, right?
On the tee with Gabe Neitzel and Stephen Watson.
Just because he's been so open and honest already, you get a couple drinks in that guy. Like, how open is he going to be?
On the tee with Gabe and Stephen. Presented by Wisconsin Golf Trips. Tuesday night at 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN. And available with Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and as a community bank, we sincerely appreciate our customer loyalty. Over nearly 90 years, we've done all we can to return the favor. Great Midwest Bank offers flexible solutions that bigger banks and credit unions simply can't, because our entire team is right here in the community. We love helping our neighbors when we're at work and then catching up over the weekend. Visit us at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Don't put your life on hold to earn a degree. Lakeland University has a long history of making students' dreams come true. Since 1862, build a schedule that meets your needs with options for 7- and 12-week courses, evening classes, and the ability to join classes remotely. Lakeland University is Wisconsin's leader in evening and online education. They have a main campus in Sheboygan County and 6 centers throughout the whole state. Lakeland University. Affordable, quality, flexible. Find out your next steps at info.lakeland.edu.
All right, Team Pella, listen up.
Thanks, John Kuhn. Customers love our products with limited lifetime warranties. Check out these big plays. Incredible innovations like blinds and shades between the glass.
No interference on that play, Coach.
And stylish windows with hidden screens that make game days a breeze.
Can it get any better?
It can. With monthly payments as low as $19 per window, $75 per patio door, and a free quote at PellaWI.com.
Let's go.
6.99 APR for 120 months. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offers on 10/31/2023.
Hey, this is Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. You have undoubtedly heard me talking about Mentality by now, and its greatness. But don't just take it from me. Hear my pal Jason talk about what Mentality has done for him.
I realized that, Father Time is undefeated, and missed the feeling of being in my 20s again. I was like, what the heck, why not? Got to give it a try. This is the one shot that we have, so I want to feel like that spring chicken again. So I went to Mentality, and it's been an amazing experience ever since. My only thing that I wish I could change is that I went sooner.
Get started today at LowTUSA.com.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
What does the skeleton say before dinner? A bon appetit. And why did the ghost go to the bar? For the booze. Yeah, Halloween jokes can be corny. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Since 1960, we've provided the most spooktacular selection and savings in town. From skull-shaped vodka bottles and pumpkin cream liqueurs to adult trick-or-treat bags and your favorite seasonal wines and beers. We've got the spirits to get you in the spirit. Combine our selection with everyday low prices and 2 convenient locations, and Discount Liquor is the one trick-or-treat stop you can't skip. Discount Liquor, locally owned and family operated with 2 locations, in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow in Maine. See all of our specials at DiscountLiquorInc.com.
Discount Liquor.
It's on to level 2 for the Crusaders.
Looking for another block. He's going to get it at the 30, at the 25. He got through that wave of defenders at the 15. And Demayas Lopez is now 3 for 3.
This week, 2-seed Catholic Memorial takes on 6-seed Lake Mills. Gabe Neitzel and Mike Podol are on the call starting at 6:30. Sponsored by R&R Insurance, BC Adhesives, KMI Construction, Lake 5 Landscape Supply, Home Sealed Exteriors, Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, Curative Care Network. You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Take my breath away and make it last forever. Do it now or never. Take my
Your brand has a story to tell. And if you're looking for the best way to tell your brand story, whether it be welcoming new teammates or new business partners onto your team, you need to look at 3 Tree Marketing for their full-service branded merchandising agency that allows you to have creative ways to share your company's story via putting it on merchandise. This is an amazing opportunity to work with the best to allow you to showcase what your brand is really about. Work with this team at 3 Tree who really wants to get to know you and your brand and your story and think outside the box and actually become like an extension of your team. So if you're thinking about anything that has to do with welcoming new teammates, business partners, an event, whatever it is that's putting your logo on merchandising, you need the help of 3 Tree Marketing. So set an appointment with them today and see how they can help you. That's 3treemarketing.com.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, 94.5 ESPN, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. Ben Brust, Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman, and homeboy Chris running the show. Brian Balaga, who joins the Homer Hour, former Packer right tackle, is joining us before he does that. So, Brian, welcome into the show. I did a terrible job running the clock today. Wanted to hear from all the passionate Packer fans. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing well. I'm having a hard time putting, naturally every Monday it becomes the blame game, right? Who do you blame? This, that, the other thing. Now, obviously it's atrocious how bad the Packers have been in the first half. Obviously it's been bad watching the youth try and figure out off a bye, where to be, right spot, this, that, the other thing. But my question to you is, why the hell did Goody, who drafted Jordan Love and put that on his resume, not come into this season with just a little bit more for his guy to look better? Doesn't that seem odd?
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of the whole discussion and thought process I was having early on in the season. Everyone, or before the season even started, everyone was obviously really excited about Watson and this young receiving group. But at the same time, a group needs to have veteran leadership. You need to have a guy that can lead the group, that can go out there week after week and consistently perform, consistently get open, and make plays. And they don't have that. They just don't have that. And up front as well, a group that was supposed to be the strongest part of the team offensively is now looking like the biggest liability of the offense. And I've been on them for a long time, the offensive line, and this week was no better. It was maybe worse. And it's just head-scratching as this roster continues to get more game time, how they're continuing to perform worse. It's head-scratching right now.
Hey, Brian, quick question. We've been talking about who's going to be who might not be, in the position, whether it's Jordan Love, head coach Matt LaFleur, or Goody. Is there something about Goody's personality where he felt like Aaron Rodgers wasn't his guy, and so that's why he didn't build a team around him? Did you ever get a sense that Goody might be one of those guys that's more into his legacy,
his own fingerprints on it,
credit versus him getting the credit versus maybe it kind of him inheriting something?
Yeah, the thing is, Goody has been in Green Bay for a long time, so his fingerprint has been all over the team for a while now, right? He was in pretty high positions of scouting and all that, and
it's different when you're the big boss, though.
I get it. I understand that, but he played a pretty big role for a long time under Ted Thompson, so he's had his hand in it. I've never thought that Goody was kind of a look at me, look at what I built type of guy. Obviously, I've had many a conversation with him as a player and as not a player, and I don't feel like he's that way. I just think that this roster has holes in it, big holes, unfortunately.
Brian, do you have anything positive to say? And it's okay if not.
No, I don't. I not right now. I don't right now.
That's fair.
Good answer.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm sorry.
Give us a little sneak peek of what you're hottest on for the Homer Hour.
Well, offensive line, receivers, defense was good, but offensive line and receivers, it's going to be a big topic.
Offensive line and receivers. If you like football, you need the Homer Hour with Brian Balaga. They're going in the trenches and separation. Next. Thanks, Brian.
We do have some delays out there. Westbound on 94. Going to be slow.